Happy Thirsty Thursday, everyone. I'm Jake Sanders along with Steve Crane, and we make up the Bourbon and BS podcast, episode 84. I screwed up the glass clink.
You did not.
Rusty.
That was lovely.
Sounded great.
You did a great job. Did a great job.
But I was just telling the guys, it's funny because I feel like I'm almost a magician, or I don't know what, where I'm like, here, I'm not here. I'm kind of here, but I'm here today, so it's nice.
Ryan Newman says Ricky's back.
Nice. Yes, Ricky's back. So
Yeah.
It's nice to be back, so thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Thank you, Steve, for holding down the fort last week and always
Absolutely.
keeping this thing going.
Yeah, we had a great episode with Josh Bentley. Dustin was on, which I thought went really well, and it was nice to see, have Josh on there, and I have a cigar there for you if you saw in front of you.
Yeah, I'm going to wait
the
for that.
Upman
Thank you very
175th.
much.
I mean, it's a great cigar. We had a good time with that one.
I was listening to your guys' notes on it. It sounded really good. So
Yeah, it was.
especially
Very
with
good.
Your E.H. Taylor barrel proof.
That was after the fact.
I know,
We did
I
the
know.
straight ride during.
Thanks for FaceTiming me. That was nice.
Absolutely, man.
I was on my break,
Call
and
you on your break.
Steve FaceTimed me, and they all kind of cheers me, so that was nice. It really is kind of it's tough not being here, so I hope that people can appreciate that.
I missed you.
Yeah. Thanks.
And welcome, Doug Ruffalo.
Yes.
So for those of you that are on the iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, everything, Doug Ruffalo, we already introduced you on the Facebook Live and the YouTube, but welcome. He is he's a locker member of Tinder Box at Easton, which is one of our sponsors. So happy to have you on. What are you laughing at?
You didn't like my elderly of the shop?
No, I mean,
No,
you got to watch
I'd
it
like
because
to-
I'm
I'd like to
also
clarify
older
that
than
a
you,
little
and
myself.
Doug's older than you. So
Yeah.
I'd like to clarify that a little bit.
Everyone's
myself.
older than
I'm
me
not the elder.
when I'm here.
you're
I'm
not
the
the shop elder. You're not the
I
shop
know.
elder.
And I'm one of the primary
Barnes.
members of the Ballbuster crew in the shop. I would like to
Absolutely.
Well, then
clarify
it's
it.
just a reciprocal relationship.
That's
because
right.
Then I
well,
had
that's
to,
why I'm comfortable there.
Yeah.
There's just always a lot of bull busting going on.
So before we get into this, we have a couple of special things. Doug brought a Western Reserve 8-year bourbon, which is I'm excited to try this because I've seen it. I think Bobby Crow had this and was when he was just in town heading back to Texas, and he showed it to us and been looking to try this. We've got a special.
Release.
Well, it's not even
Unboxing.
released. I mean, I've got a box over here. It's off camera, but we're going to bring it on camera, and it's a large box from Stogiebird, and we're going to get into what that is. Sam Lucia had reached out to us, and he says, we got you on the big screen at Stogiebird HQ, so
Awesome.
we've hit the big time. So everyone that's watching at Stogiebird
You laugh, but
HQ,
this is
no, it's
serious.
awesome. I love
So
it.
Straight,
I love it.
Straight face.
It's a really
I'm not
good
gonna be
service.
straight-faced.
I recommend it, by the way. When
Yeah.
we get into
And
it later,
Doug-
I'm a member of it.
So that was one of the things that we talked to Doug about, is that he is actually a subscriber to Stogiebird, and I don't know if you want to get into that first. You want to do let's do the whiskey not real quick, but let's hit that.
I'm going to need a little more then before we get going.
Well, I
there.
tell you what, no,
mine,
let's
mine
do
evaporated. I don't
You
know what happened.
No,
to it.
I'm going to change that up. Let's do the Stogiebird thing because we need something to smoke.
There
You want to
go.
start with that?
Sure.
All right. So
I feel like I'm outnumbered here.
Get used
well,
to
do you
it.
want something to smoke? Yeah, exactly.
I'm not answering that.
Exactly. So, for those of you on the video, I'm gonna kind of do it off camera here, but I want to show everyone what Sam and Stogiebird.
Just put it up here.
It's very large.
Just put it up there.
So,
You got a knife?
yeah, I got a knife. I know you got a knife too.
Oh, I got a knife, buddy.
So, for those of you can see the size of the box that he sent us. It's got its own custom tape, Stogiebird, on there with the logo. Stogiebird is stogiebird.com. And Sam has been doing this, and we can kind of go over a little bit of Sam's history as well. But if you guys want to check out stogiebird.com, this is more or less a subscription service that's very, very popular in a lot of industries. But with this, it's fairly unique, in my opinion. It's kind of like a Cigar of the Month club, but very much catered to different manufacturers, different
Right.
stuff that Sam likes, that he believes in. So there's a little bit more of it's like a personal shopper, but based on a lot of his preferences that he thinks that people enjoy. So,
Well,
Doug,
and
you're
part of it is that he's got at least, I think he's up to over 1,200 subscribers right now.
That's amazing.
And he, on his Stogiebird page on Facebook, has polls and is looking for input from all the people that belong to it for what they'd like to see in it. So it really is it's a nice selection of cigars around everybody's tastes.
Yeah. So what do you do? Is there like a questionnaire or something that you first do, and then you pay the subscription, and then they send you something like according to your taste, or is it just something different every month?
It's something different every month, but he does occasionally ask, what are you guys looking for, and we answer it, and And so it's really amazing. And most of the Stogie Birds I've received have been things I've never had before, which I really like. So I get to try a different range of cigars that I would never even think to go buy. So.
Oh, very cool.
So I want to say, right before we get into this, because I think we need to, and we haven't yet, we mentioned Tinder Box at Easton, but Altadis USA is definitely one of our featured sponsors, and they are renewing the sponsorship with us. So we want to thank Altadis USA for the support. You see them behind us with the Romeo Julieta, Monte Cristo, H. Upman, some great cigars along with those 3 brands, as well as a whole portfolio. But we had Josh Bentley last week, talked a little bit about the sponsorship, and looking forward to some changes. And Jake and I have worked hard on working with them and kind of negotiating some extra support, which we're excited about. So thank you very much, Altadis USA, and also Tinder Box at Easton, and then BS Cigar Company as well for the continued support.
Hey, you guys want to throw money at this? Go right ahead.
They want to. We've already talked about it. We've got some other representation in the garage, so they're off the clock right now. I want to say the first thing that I see in here is actually a coupon. So $5 off your first order.
A coupon.
So he throws that in there, which is fantastic. And then also I want to extend to everyone. We'll say it now. We'll say it later. San Lucia was gracious enough to anyone that goes on and use the coupon code Bourbon and BS on their website. On stogiebird.com, you'll get $5 off any purchase. So that's a subscription, or if it's a single purchase, he said it's good. And that code goes all the way from the month for a month from tonight. So thank you very much, Sam. And do you have questions about that?
No, the 12th. So the 12th to the 12th.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah, October 12th will be the cutoff there.
So we're gonna unbox this here and try to talk to you guys that are on the audio.
Got a nice bag
as
there,
well.
Man.
So
cool.
He definitely has thrown in some
nice couple bags.
That's fantastic. So we got Stogie Bird bag. We have.
So it's a bird with a cigar on it.
Now about those bags, the last. So I get the 5 cigar a month subscription. I got one of those bags. I only get 5 cigars, but I got one of those bags. Everybody got one of those bags. It's not awesome. How many cigars get.
And the way that works, just so you guys know, we'll go over it. But it's 2 cigars for $20 a month, 5 cigars for $40 a month, 8 for $60, and there's a couple other options on there. We have a pink feather.
And a black feather.
So, Sam, if we're on still at your HQ, if you want to chime in on the feed at any time here, pink and a black feather, any significance to any of these items?
No, that's significance to birds.
To birds. I got a flower with a smiley face. Sticker.
Every sticker.
I mean, whatever.
The sticker thing is a big part of it.
He went to the trouble of doing all this stuff, so we got a lot of stickers. A lot of stickers. Stogie Bird sticker, American Rebel. We're going to have our table full of stickers here.
It's Gucci pants.
Perfect. We'll give that to Ryan Newman right there. More Stogie Bird stickers.
I like
some good stickers. Swag for sure.
I don't know about Fortnite, though.
All right, so we've got another bag. We've got a lot of items here. So we've got some canisters. Doug, I think you're familiar with this here. I'm going to line these up.
I'm highly trained on the Stogie Bird canisters.
Okay.
Don't unwrap it in front of the mic. You're blinding or
hold them babies up.
Okay.
So I got tubes on tubes on tubes here.
Okay. Did you know this was going to happen?
Nice. So we got a snake in one.
That was going to happen?
I might have suspected it, yes.
So how do you know, Doug?
If you watch the Stogie Bird Facebook page, there's a lot of people that get the packages and do video on openings.
Perfect.
And one of them was the snake.
Is there stuff in here?
All right, so there's more
Keep going.
feathers and more good stuff here. So I'm going to hand this to our lovely assistant, Dustin, on the side. Thank you, Dustin Bovey.
Is there something in here? Or am I just doing this for...
Keep going, baby. Keep going.
All right.
Is there something in this?
Yeah.
I think just a spring. I think...
No, that's just a snake. I don't think you're going to find anything in a snake.
All right,
you
so
were
I'm going to
looking
hand
at me
this,
like I'm done.
Doug, if you want to
I'm
grab
having a lot
one
of fun watching you.
Don't put the snake on me, man. I hate snakes.
So we got
snakes.
4...
That's you.
Oh, it's a guessing game, right? It's like...
No, I think you opened the prize here.
That's right.
All right, so we're going to get through some of these here.
That's what I mean. So
we don't even know what we're smoking tonight, so we'll figure this out. But
I'm almost afraid now to open this one.
I know.
I'm going to aim it at Jake.
No, don't.
So are these all different too? The tubes?
Yeah.
Looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, they're all different.
All right.
So around each tube, you have a list of what's in it.
Around the tube?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got July, August.
Yeah.
La Barba room.
Inside the tube?
Yeah.
Inside or out? This one had it on the outside.
Room 101, Blackbird Cigar Company, Alpha Cigar Company, and Island Gym, lead by Oscar.
Those Island Gyms are really good.
If you notice, though, it's got a sticker on there, Boveda on there. And Sam was saying that these are basically in heat packaging, so I don't have a label.
Nice packaging, though, really. I mean, they're almost like...
Maybe I do. Is that what that means? I've got Unkind, Kubra, Cuckoo Criollo. Yeah, it's got to be the cigars.
Do you have that knife?
I'm really familiar with.
Here you go.
Where'd that knife go?
You got it. Got it.
Check it out. A leaf by Oscar. Very nice.
Nice.
Oh, I guess I didn't need the knife.
So I don't know.
Oh,
I got to pay attention.
Sam Lucia says he's dying here, so he loved it. I think.
Of course, I open the joke.
Bobby Hirschman says, "Nice package. Thanks a lot, man." Wait, that was aimed towards Jake.
What?
He said he had a nice package.
Yeah. I know. Ooh, a Lancero.
Here we go.
Rob,
We've gone right down the hill already.
Yeah.
Hey.
I mean, these are really.
Not yet. I haven't tasted the featured thing.
Really awesome selection.
So I'm gonna. What do we? You guys have the same or?
I think.
Looks no.
A little different than yours.
Whoop.
Now.
John Belly says it's huge.
Drop one on the floor.
He's talking about the package.
I mean, Doug and I have some of this. I think Doug and I have because.
You got the same.
Yeah,
we have
I think we have the same one. Yeah.
On the cylinders. But you had that was the special wrapping on yours.
Is this did you say SB2 on yours?
Yeah.
SB2.
Yeah.
Is that yours as well?
Yeah.
SB2.
SB2. Yeah.
All right.
So that's their.
Then I've got this one here, and we'll pick from that one to smoke, okay?
Out
and
of
then we'll
the
talk.
SB2?
I think so. So
okay.
on in mine here, the first one I opened, 2, 4, 6, I have 8.
Yeah, I got.
You have 8?
8.
And I have 8 as well.
Cool.
So that would be the $60 package there. And I'll put those up here.
What were the ranges again?
So you got
for the memberships
two cigars for $20 a month, and then you've got 5 for $40, and then 8 cigars for $60 a month.
It's not bad for 60.
No, you figure. I mean, and Sam, I assume would be able to share with us. I mean, you're looking at this. So like SB2, I've got La Barba Ricochet, Room 101, Doomsayer, Alpha Cigar, Absinthe Infused, Blackbird Cigar Company, which I think a lot of these are in this one that I'm not as familiar with. The Finch, and then Island Gym Leaf by Oscar. So nice. That's the one you guys have. And Sam was saying that the subscriptions basically start, I guess, middle of the month on the 15th. Is that right, Doug?
That's
when you
right.
do that?
Yeah.
So he said this is going to be later. So I don't know if we're spoiling things or if we're late to the party. I'm not quite sure.
Great packaging, though, Sam. Wow. I mean, this is a lot. So, and thank you very much for sending us this.
Very nice.
Yeah, this is amazing.
By the way, one guy comment that the boxes or the tubes that are the same are the monthly subscriber tubes.
Okay.
And then the first one that Steve opened was the manufacturer of the month tubes.
Okay.
Oh, so that's all Blackbird. Okay, I got you.
Cool.
And then so right now I looked on their oh god, this is bad. Oh jeez. On the max menu, yeah, good for defense.
I was a fullback and I never dropped a pass in high school.
All right. And
I'll bet I could. Yeah, right. I'll bet I could throw that football over that mountain.
Yeah, tried Uncle Rico. But so this month I saw on the website that Espinosa is the manufacturer of the month currently.
Oh, cool.
So I don't know if Blackbird's going to be coming up. I didn't. It's just the currently listed one on there. So. Which leads me to actually something exciting coming up in October. We're going to have Eric Espinosa in the garage.
Yeah.
It's going to be a Whiskey Wednesday. It's the next Whiskey Wednesday. It's Thursdays besides that one. But we're going to have a prime rib dinner with him here in Columbus, Ohio.
On that Thursday.
Thursday the 10th. So he's going to be in here on the 9th, the night before. So we're looking forward to that. But he is the manufacturer of the month.
So which one do we want to dive into?
So I'm going to give you a little feedback on one I particularly liked. This is Doomsayer. I really like that.
Room 101.
Yeah, I really like this stick.
All right.
And we don't carry that at the shop either.
No,
so
no, we do not.
I think that'd be interesting to do.
I think we're good. We might want to clean up some of these here.
Yeah.
we'll leave the one featured one here if that works. Okay. All right, garbage. Sorry for those of you listening on audio. We're just cleaning up the mass amounts that.
It was a good unveiling.
I thought so.
Man.
Yeah. So.
Thanks, Dustin.
All right, so let's look at the Doomsayer, right?
Yep.
So we are going to.
Oh shit! It has the information on that thing.
I've got it. Yeah, I'll get it. Okay. All right, so I'm going to move these cigars up here, but let's go after the Doomsayer.
Okay. Cool.
So
we want to
if anyone has any questions,
cigar first, then.
You know, you can talk about the whiskey while we light up the cigars, but I want to say so. Nathan Kenna, which I'm not sure. He seems to be unless he's part of Stogiebird possibly because of the icon he's got there. But he's dropping it down here. So Nate, if you want to look over some of those notes, Sam says we look like kids going through their Halloween candy, which you're absolutely right. Kind of felt like that.
Duh.
Yeah.
It's always exciting when the delivery comes. Always exciting.
Dude, it's got to be.
I barely could contain myself to do that video when I did my video of the opening.
You were so excited, or you're so nervous? Were you peeing a little?
No, I normally just get it and tear it open. I don't take the time to.
Did you get a snake too?
I did not get a snake.
Damn it!
I didn't. I'm not that special.
Of course, I open it. So, into the whiskey then.
Go after the whiskey, and then we'll come back to the cigar part of it for the first part of the podcast. Yeah, look at all these stickers and feathers.
Random stickers.
There's a sticker in there. I'm not sure if it's in this package, but it's the Grumpy Cat smoking a pipe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I gave that to my wife, and she put it on her Chromebook, and she didn't realize the Grumpy Cat was smoking a pipe.
There's the Island Gem
pretty funny.
sticker. Those are cool. Anyways, so.
What are we drinking tonight? I'm going to take a sip of this while you bring it up.
We're going to be sipping on the Western Reserve 8-year bourbon that Doug was gratefully able to bring. So thank you, Doug, for bringing that.
My pleasure.
So a little bit of background information. Western Reserve is up in Lakewood, Ohio, near Cleveland. It is an 8-year-old bourbon, like I stated, and it is around what kind of proof here? We're sitting at, I think, is it 43? Yep, 43% alcohol, so 86 proof. And so a little bit of background information. They started in 2018. They do outsource their whiskey. The first one that they did, they got from a distillery in Chicago. They named themselves as an organic kind of corn. I don't,
So they're using organic.
Yeah, but this isn't their distillate.
Okay.
So it doesn't really matter when we're talking about this. But they have this. They have gins, vodkas, and so forth. But and a 14-year as well. But the 8-year and the 14-year are all George Dickel distillates. So they're coming out of Tennessee. And as soon as we tried this, like right from the beginning right before the podcast, I could notice the classic, like George Dickel, or not George, notes that, I normally get. And, we've talked about that before, about how some distilleries can, they have certain essences about them. Like Jim Beam, like you can tell what's made at Jim Beam. You can tell what's made at Buffalo Trace, at least I can. Same as Maker's Mark and so on and so forth. But I think that this is really good. I think it's really easy. It's got an easy palate to it. How much was this, Doug?
$64 at a Kroger.
Okay, in Ohio.
Yeah.
So you're sitting around for an 8-year bourbon. That's not bad.
No.
You know what's funny is you have a lot of pretentious people, especially especially on bourbon sites and cigar sites and stuff like that. And there's always going to be people that ruin stuff. And
someone.
Yeah. And so, what I heard, because I haven't tried this before tonight either, and what I did hear is that this stuff was not good at all. But tasting it tastes like, it's George Dickel juice. It's 8-year-old George Dickel juice coming out of Tennessee. It's very smooth, got a lot of honey to it, got a lot of vanilla to it. It does have kind of it's got an interesting spice palette. It's kind of got that, it's got not like too much of a metallic-y spice to it, like what we sometimes get, but that's why I kind of asked Steve if he had
looking at me while he says that.
Well, I had too many.
Well, depends on the night. Yeah,
depends on the night.
Yeah.
But when you and AJ and I always forget his name.
Angelo.
Yeah. When you guys had the old Scout on, that's George Dickel as well. That release was.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of do like a side-by-side.
I think it's got a nice wood note to it as well. That oakiness is in there. It's not strong, but it's there. You can taste it.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's definitely smooth. I like it. I think that $60 range is a little steep.
Why? Why do you say that? I mean, first of all, I want to ask who told you that, or where did you see that it's not good?
It was in my. I was seeing a lot of reviews on my bourbon on some of my bourbon pages. So
okay,
yeah, and I was interested to try it, but obviously the 14 years like $100 and some, and I was
change.
I definitely wasn't gonna try that out. And I think 60 is like my cutoff. If I don't really know, I would rather try.
You got a higher cutoff than I do.
Yeah,
$60. I'm like, no, I better know about this.
Well, I mean, I still
I
want to know, but that's like my cutoff point where I'm like, I'm really don't know about that. So if I don't know anything.
You were looking at me because of obviously you mentioned like it's in Ohio, and a lot of times I'll get that metallic type stuff. Now, the one thing I will say, this isn't distilled in Ohio at this point, right? My understanding, based on I think what Doug and I were talking about, that they were doing it, but now they're sourcing out. Is that right?
They had, I think they had a 4-year.
Yeah.
So
they're working on their own,
and they ran out, so they needed a source.
Okay.
Some whiskey.
So I would say that's maybe part of it. I'm not getting a whole lot of that, but a lot of the times when I get that with the Ohio bourbons, the whiskeys, what we're talking about, it's from some of the ones that seem rushed.
Right,
smaller barrels. They're doing a different process. I don't want to say it's like you're coming up with something. It's not trying to be cute, but you're just trying to almost like reinvent the wheel. You're trying to adapt to what you're able to do as a distillery, and maybe rushing it or trying a different technique as opposed to some of the tried and true. And that was something that we talked about last week on the podcast, was the trends versus tried and true. And there's nothing wrong with going towards some of the trends with some of the newer distilleries, but I think that's why they're sourcing out a lot of the ones like this, where it's coming from Dickel, and some people, they like or don't like George Dickel stuff, but I don't get much of the metallic taste on this.
Actually, I'm happy that it didn't come from Lawrenceburg. That's all I'm saying. Everything comes from Lawrenceburg. It's nice to have something that's a little bit different.
What, you talking MGP?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but this wasn't.
No,
but it's
not.
nice. Yeah,
that's what he's saying. Yeah.
Well, it's funny though. It's because those are like the two that's really outsourcing that you hear of. Like it used to be Heaven Hill, but now it's like Dickel and MGP that are really just killing it right now. But I mean,
looks like Steve's got a little extra flavor in his.
Yeah. I'm just gonna get that out of there. I washed my hands earlier today. It's fine. It's fine.
My only gripe with like Dickel distillate is it's really good, but it's just mellow. It's just super mellow. It's charcoal filtered, so you're getting that smoothness. But I mean, let's not forget that like charcoal filtering does extract some of the flavor. So I would wonder what this would taste like. You know, I've always wondered what
the non-chill filtered or whatever.
Yeah, or non-chill filtered and non-charcoal filtered. You know what I mean?
For me, the thing I'm going to liken this to, experience-wise, not taste-wise, but experience-wise, is like the McKenna 10. It's really nice.
Not as hot though.
Not as hot, but it's
rich.
But it's nice and smooth.
It's rich.
It's a very similar experience. A lot of flavor going on.
I'd definitely say that. I'll definitely say there is a nice rich like you're saying, mellow, but it's not a negative. I don't think. I think it's easy drinking.
It's not a negative. I mean, it does.
It's in the outsides of my tongue too a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good.
Finish.
It's got a really long finish.
Yeah,
and it's not a Kentucky hug.
It's an Indiana hug, right?
It's Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Where it said not MGP. That's ridiculous. Tennessee.
Right. But it's got. I mean, it's just. I mean, you feel it all the way down. It's actually nice.
It's beautiful color. I mean, it's an attractive whiskey.
Well, and let's not forget the bottle either. Yeah. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's a really, really unique bottle. It pops out. Great cork. One thing I was interested in, do you see that little bee that I just noticed? Like,
oh, yeah.
Isn't that funny? Do you see that? See, it's like a...
Yeah.
There's a bee.
Western Reserve, and it's got a bee, a bumblebee.
And then it's like a
not
compass,
the letter.
and then it's south, and then,
And I had to go and ask for them to, pull it out of the lockbox at the Kroger, so they're treating it like something special.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, so...
so cool. Just to go over some of the intelligent conversation that's going on the Facebook feed right now,
Oh boy.
Yeah, let's just bring
Rob
everyone
keeps
to
laughing.
this.
What's going
on? Where's the Crown Royal? Come on, guys. So yeah, we'll do Crown Royal when we do a Canadian night here soon. The snake was a reprise of our April Fool's prank. So we talked about with the Stogie Birds thing.
That was a good one.
It was good.
I really thought that there was like cigar. The way that Doug was looking at me, I thought that the cigars were like in the.
Sam says he's disappointed that was
he's
the
never
first
seen
one
me
we
look
opened.
like that at him before. Come on.
Yeah. But that was the first one that was out.
I wouldn't be upset if
Jonathan
that was the first
Herring.
one.
So we've got some comments from our mature audience about Dickel. Drink every time Jake says Dickel. I think they want you, Doug. You're leaning in. You're down. They can't see you very well.
Oh, Jesus. Well, I'm going to blame that on Nate. He says, keep talking into the microphone.
That's all right.
You guys are ridiculous.
He said that you need a telephone book.
How's this? Is this
you need
better?
No, get in the mic a little bit more.
Okay.
And then
how close those two are to the mic?
yeah.
That's how close
Anyways,
you gotta be, Doug.
I know.
And then
I'm
Jonathan
paying attention
Herring
to the producers.
Jonathan Herring also says the Dickel has a long finish, so that's all right. Now that we are up to speed for those audio listeners, or if you're on the YouTube video and you haven't been able to participate in this very high IQ conversation, we're caught up.
We did see Eric Black, though. I was glad that he joined.
Yeah, Eric Black was on. So we got. I appreciate everyone out there. If you guys want to have fun, that's awesome. Just busting balls, great show. Bobby says so. No, we know we're busting balls too. I just want to bring everyone up to speed and try to bring everyone's IQ down. Yeah, it's a lot.
Do you like it though? What do you think?
I actually do like this. It's.
You were questioning me on the price. What do you think? Do you think 60s? I mean, not to. I don't want to say like Doug, just like
I own no responsibility around the pricing, right?
No.
I just decided to try it.
But what I'm saying is like if you grabbed like the Old Scout 107,
yeah,
that's coming from.
I think they're
Dickel.
so different. I think this is one that if you like the flavor, you're not upset about paying $60-some for it.
Right.
I would say that there's other ones out there, but I think that goes with any of the bottles. I mean, the same thing with cigars, right? You know, when you ask me about a cigar that is, $20, $25, it's tough for me because I've smoked. Same thing with wine, same thing with whiskey, same thing with tequilas. I mean, if you find something that you like that's going to be less expensive, then you're winning. But if there's something out there that's expensive, I wouldn't say this blows me away, but I'm not upset about the fact that if I wanted this in my collection, I think it'll stand up on its own. I will say that. But it's not going to be something like you're going to be like, I've never tasted anything like this before. This is absolutely amazing.
But at the same time, you're not going to give this to someone and they're going to go, oh, that's horrible. This
Absolutely.
is really nice.
That's what I'm saying.
Like it.
It's a good bourbon. I think this is a good bourbon.
Do you light up the room 101?
Yeah, I have.
Just take a puff of that.
All right.
And then take a sip.
I gotta relight it.
There's a really great. It just opens up what this was missing for me. Did you notice that, Doug? It's perfect.
Very nice together. Absolutely.
Yes, it opened up that oak that was missing.
We also have some people on here saying, while I'm doing this, is info on Stogiebird, which we're going to get to. We're sharing to a few new groups. Those of you that are a part of Stogie.
Man.
What's that? Well, so that's the thing. I was watching another cigar podcast earlier this week.
Can we just talk about whiskey for a second?
This is kind of like a hockey game right now.
Exactly. So I just want to kind of bring everyone up to speed. If you haven't listened before, the one thing that we do, we consider it a little bit different, is we have obviously the whiskey side of it, the cigar side of it, and then the life topic part of it. So enjoy as much as you guys want. Stay tuned for the entire episode. We hope you do, because it is a little bit different, and hopefully you get something out of the conversation. With the whiskey part of it,
They're going to enjoy it.
we hope so. So I just took a couple drags off of that.
Okay, John, thank you. You can leave. This
is now I would call it a rep hangout if you're in the Columbus area and it's a Thursday night and you're like, wait, oh yeah, I'm coming by the garage.
We just need Kylie, and that would kind of complete
the
picture.
So, what were you saying that I should find there?
There's so you know how smooth
it changes the flavor a bit.
It just brings out that oak and the vanilla more.
I can see that
for me. Like it brings out what it was missing for me.
More well, I think what you like.
Well,
it's not as much on the sides of the tongue anymore when I do that.
Right, but
and it's not a bad thing. But I get the vanilla side of it. I get a little creamier, like type of a flavor.
This is gonna sound so bad, but it's like drinking like a flat Coca-Cola.
Yeah, that's not selling whiskey.
And then drinking like a fresh one.
The notes of this cigar are more along the nutty, woody side anyway, so that's certainly going to complement you. You're not getting a lot of spice in this cigar.
No, cedar.
Right, yeah.
It's really nice, though. I actually really like Room 101 cigars.
And it's not super strong. It's a nice medium, maybe medium to full at the most. But
it's just got like a really creamy essence to it. Nice size, too. What do you think, 6 by 52? 54?
I'd say 54.
Yeah. Just because I said size, you guys can stop laughing.
6 by 55, it says.
55.
So, yeah, unorthodox. And I don't know if Sam's out there or anyone that's from that group or that knows a bit more about Room 101, just because we don't carry it. We used to. Matt Booth kind of parted ways and all that stuff a couple years back. So I know that he branched out. Now you got Matt Booth, you got AJ Fernandez and Caldwell all kind of teaming up right now.
Got it.
And it's like down and back or back and down cigars. Do you guys know it? Down and back. So yeah, it's a new. I honestly I just heard about this that they're all teaming up now. It's not AJ's got a couple blends with them, so it's basically Matt Booth, Matt Booth and Robert Caldwell, and Bellotto. That's right. Which we also have a La Barba, which we've carried in the shop before.
Yeah, really is a great selection here.
Yeah, it is a nice selection.
And for $60, you get 8.
$60 you get 8 a month.
Okay,
and it changes all the time. And again, you have basically the manufacturer side, or you can do the manufacturer featured one. So if you are, like I said, right now, if you got on Stogiebird.com, put in Bourbon and BS, you would get $5 off any of the purchases. So if you want if you're an Espinosa fan, you can get on right now and do the Espinosa package, get $5 off, and make a single purchase, and you get 8 cigars, I believe, from Espinosa.
Well, yeah,
is how that works. Or you can do the random.
Well, and you can basically think of this like it's 8 divided by 60, so it's like $7.50 for.
And these are not inexpensive cigars. So I think Sam's really kind of helping you out with that. He's picking some higher end cigars, or at least I'd say like more average price.
Yeah.
Got a Leaf by Oscar in there, Lancero, Maduro, which is a great cigar. But what do you guys think of the Room 101 Doomsayer? I'll kind of go over, and since I'm not really familiar with this one, you've got it's made in the DR, and it is this is called the Super Toro 6 by 55 Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, Indonesian binder, and Nicaraguan Honduran filler. Along with it says Pennsylvania. So I assume there might be some Pennsylvania broadleaf because that's typically what you're getting out of Pennsylvania.
And the filler or the binder?
And the filler. Yeah, it's an Indonesian binder.
Okay.
It says it's a new release. Like I said, I haven't seen this.
Cool. Where did it say the manufacturer was?
It's it's in the DR, but he's using Tabacalera William Ventura.
Cool. Nice.
And that's Caldwell and all those guys.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool.
So again, and then it got a note on here that says everything ships free. So that dollar amount that you're paying, I assume there might be some sales tax. I don't know, but beyond that, it's free shipping on all this stuff. So it's all built in.
This?
Yeah.
There's like nothing.
And the cool thing about Stogiebird is if you like me, I signed up for the 5 cigar a month thing, but if I want to change it, it's interesting because I don't go in there and say, all right, I want to go from 5 to 8. I just cancel what I have and reestablish it to the next one, and immediately takes hold. And the next shipment, it just changes to the new selection. So
nice.
Makes it pretty easy to change what you want to do.
So you just cancel it and start a new one?
Yeah, and Sam's got everything wired tight, so it just happens.
Yeah, and so it ships out on the 15th, right? Or you receive it around the middle of the month every month. But this is interesting. I get something in the retro. I get more of like and I've been saying this. I don't know again if it's my palate right now, but I'm getting that warm spice again with this one. Honestly, in the retro hail,
I don't get any burn at all.
That's not a burn.
Okay.
No.
Take it easy.
Yeah, I'm not saying burn. I say a warm spice. So if you're talking, you don't get anything. Are you talking about like the burn in your nose?
Yeah.
I was talking about like the flavor that you get. What do you get on flavor with that?
What'd you say again?
I got warm spice.
Yeah, what, like black pepper? Or do you consider that the burn? Because I heard that like there's like white pepper and then black pepper.
Yeah.
And the white pepper is like without the burn. I know some people have.
That's like a cedary spice. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not getting like a real pepper note out of it. I think it's good. Doug, what do you think?
Well, I'm physically incapable of a retrohale, so I can't give you an answer. But taste-wise, yeah, exactly. You guys are right on the mark.
Yeah. You said you liked this one.
I like this a lot.
Yeah.
This was in my last shipment, and I loved it.
So did you get some of these in your last shipment? Because it says July, August. So this is your last tube you got.
That's right. Yeah, I got the leaf. I got the these two on the end. This one. Yep.
Nice.
Good stuff.
This is going to be a weird one for me with the cigar itself because I don't normally give weird notes on the cigars, but I kind of get like a pasta.
A pasta. What kind of pasta? There's so many pastas.
I don't know.
Or just plain noodles.
Oh, my God. He's going to sit next to a Jersey Italian and talk to me about pasta and a cigar. Minga.
Talking a white pasta, red pasta?
I'm sorry, but it's not
noodles.
Sauce. It's gravy. Thank you.
Like, yeah, just, I don't know, like, just noodles. Just like spaghetti.
Noodles.
Like,
Noodles.
Yeah. Like bread.
All
like,
right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe that's
like a grain. I don't know. Is that more respectable to you assholes?
It's
Are you talking to the audience?
Yes.
Here or the audience out in the world?
I'm picking up a semolina note on there and a little bicycle tire as
There
well.
you go. Oh, there's your bicycle tire.
Okay. Okay. Well, this is where I move on.
Doug, Sam Lucia does say, good to see you on the show. Doug, good to see you on the show. Thanks for the many years of support, brother.
Sam is one of my favorite cigar people, absolutely.
Sam's a lot of fun.
And it doesn't hurt that he looks like Kid Rock, so, you could fake a picture with him if you want.
That's true. I can see that. Sam was at our 10 event a few years back, so kind of go over some of his history, and I'm going to butcher this a little bit. Navy guy, right? Navy guy. I knew he's military. I believe he's Navy. And then when he kind of got towards this side of the industry, to my knowledge, and Sam, forgive me since I didn't brush up on this, but what I remember and respect of you in this industry is that Sam was a part of the spirit industry and was doing some of that stuff. Got involved as a rep for Oliva Cigars, I believe was his first one, and then at that point he kind of branched off with them and helped create, if not created. I've heard different stories, but I know he was the face and kind of the creator of the Nub cigars. So Nub cigars are still made by Oliva through what they call Studio Tobacco, and he kind of started that whole thing. And that's when he started really touring the industry as far as shops and everything else, was with the Nub cigars. Then he did the Cane cigars, was a follow up, and then at some point he parted ways with Oliva. And they kept those cigars, the Nubs, the Canes, and everything else, and relabeled that Studio Tobacco. Sam then went off on his own, and you had some Lucia Tobacco cigars, and he had some great cigars, the white, the black. Came out with a Luchador. He was working under the umbrella with Tarano. He came to our shop and did a rolling event, which was fantastic. That was the last rolling event we had in the more recent years, which was awesome. That was a great event.
So he's actually rolling cigars?
So he basically, he came with the binder already around the filler.
Okay.
Because to do that, on the road, to do something from start to finish is absolutely a mess.
It's a lot of tobacco.
It's a lot of tobacco. You got to have a lot of area to set up and everything like that. So basically, you come with this, without the wrapper leaf. So it's got the binder already, and then he's got the table, and he's got the Chevetta, and he's doing that part.
The thing that Sam did in that rolling event that blew me away was those multicolored artistic
Barber
wrappers on him. I mean, to watch him build them was just blew me away. I was just mesmerized by that.
There.
So
Stogiebird up
on the
Yeti
mug.
there.
So extremely talented. So then he went to Lucia, his own company, was under Tarano. Tarano sold to General Jonathan, and so then he was with General for a little while doing the Lucia project with them, and then again parted ways, and then was kind of, I don't want to say dormant. He's never really dormant as far as that. Sam's never really quiet, but then he launched this, and I don't want to say it's out of nowhere, but from my perspective, the Stogiebird thing was kind of out of nowhere. I know he was maybe working on it for a long time to set this all up, but he's really kind of found some traction with this, which I think is really cool, because the the subscription, the box service, you've got like the different fashion ones. You've got anything. Obviously you've got food prep and all that stuff. You've got, you can get like kitchen spices. You can get like home not furniture necessarily, but like home interior decor. All that stuff. You can get these box services, so the subscription service. Wine of the month. I've seen cigar of the month, but this is definitely a different take on it. And I do like it. So to Sam out there, if you're still watching or you're listening to this, kudos to you. I mean, this is really great. And again, thank you very much for including us in this and supporting our show. And we're happy to return the favor with that. So
thanks for the stickers.
And of all this cigars on the table. And everything else, Jake says thank you for the stickers.
Someone had to mention it.
The stickers.
You mentioned everything else. I got the stickers.
I love the stickers. I have my work laptop has all the stickers from my company on it, and right in the middle of them all is a Stogiebird sticker.
Next
and
time,
I was at
send
a
a
customer
coloring
meeting
book, will you?
and
Please.
Yeah, my manager is like, "What is a Stogiebird?" And so I had to explain it in front of the customer, and the customer's like, "Oh, I like cigars." I'm like, "Okay, Stogiebird.com, buddy." Set them right on the way.
That's awesome. How long have you been a part of Stogiebirds? I know you probably said it earlier, but
you know what? It's funny. I was part of the Stogiebirds group when they started it up, but I didn't subscribe right away. I just sat and watched it, and as it got bigger, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna jump in,
support it, yeah.
And I'm glad I did. Really glad.
That's awesome.
Well, and I want to bring it up from the retailer standpoint, and from we've got some of the reps here as well in the garage. The way I look at it is you can support your brick and mortar. You can support, some of the, like, if you can't find it or you want to do a box buy here and there, if that's the way you buy cigars. Obviously, it's a better deal typically to buy from someone that doesn't have tobacco tax or buys in bulk or whatever it is. I'm not against either, but I'm partial to the brick and mortar side, and that's mainly even before I started working in the industry. It was more that was my vibe. I don't necessarily want to just buy cigars online and then smoke at the house. I know some people do, but for me, it was always. I liked the smoking with the community, getting to know people. I love the shop, the community. Basically, what all this podcast is about. Jake's still playing with stickers.
Gotta do something.
Sorry if I'm boring you, but I was going to say.
Talk. What?
I was going to say.
Listening.
Yeah, right. I was going to say. I think you can do a combination. I know Doug is a customer of the Tinder Box. He's he's a locker member, but he also does this. So this is a way for him to try new stuff. And I got to be honest. This is something that when Sam moves on to the next month and he doesn't include the same cigars every month, this is one where where it goes hand in hand is the way I look at it. So if you have something like the Doomsayer, and you smoke it, so Doug smokes it and he comes in and we have a few people come in saying, I smoked this new Room 101 Doomsayer, I really like it. Like if you got a box, I'd buy it from you. And that's where I think it really goes hand in hand because then the following month, you get a new set of cigars. Now, granted, your retailer that you prefer or whatever is not always going to pick up everything that you say you like, but if you see these trends where people are trying new things and they're able to find things they like, and it's not going to all be winners. There's a nice variety on here. But that's where both sides of the coin, I think, really can benefit from these types of things.
Right.
Because $60 for 8 cigars, or you're doing the $40, whatever it is, or even there's a 2 for $20. You do that, you get that in the mail every month. It's something new you haven't had before, and your shop most likely hasn't picked it up, or it's something newer like this. I like both sides.
So Sam Lucia asked here on the live. He said, "What makes my small veteran-owned business different from a brick and mortar?" And Stogiebird it's like a question.
Yeah.
Stogiebird offers a variety of cigars you would be hard pressed to find from one shop. So.
Exactly. So there's a variety.
But a hard variety, like something that normally it's kind of off the beaten path is what I'm trying to say.
I'd say in the variety pack here, we've carried several of the brands, but of the actual selection here, we have carried the Leaf by Oscar. We've carried the Barba, but not the Ricochet. That's a newer one from them. And we did carry the Alpha.
Absinthe infused?
We did carry that for a small period of time. So again, of the 8, we've had 3 represented at the shop. So that's a great point.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. Stogiebird helps spread the word on some of the great boutique cigars that may not have national coverage, as Sam Lucia says. Yeah. So it's awesome. But I think the only thing, are you allowed to, like, do they have, like, box deals on? Like, does he have like main cigars, or is everything subscription based?
I haven't looked into that, so that's a good question for Sam.
Because
I
it's like, what happens
that.
if you like love something? Like,
that's
on the other side.
That was my point, is that you go into your brick and mortar, hopefully, and you can find something. They have it, or they can order it for you, or whatever. If you need to go online and order it, but I mean that's his part of it, is that he gets the names out there, and then it's up to the cigars in a sense to stand up on their own.
Yeah,
and it's up against the ones that they put them in there with, and just what you like, and you can either order online, or obviously I prefer, because of the way, not only what I do, but I mean it's what I prefer is the brick and mortar, and hopefully you have a good shop that will support your likes to a point,
right?
And that's where I think so. No, he doesn't. To my knowledge, he doesn't have like a website where you're like, oh, I really like the Room 101, and now I'm going to order a box from Stogiebird. It's going to be something that you're going elsewhere to buy.
Around the brick and mortar thing, I like to spread my money around, but I like to support brick and mortar. So I travel for work. Right. Everywhere I go, I stop in the local shop and I buy, because I want to make sure that the brick and mortar shops stay around.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's certainly we got a little disturbance in the floors out here.
Keep talking. I'm trying to figure out what
the hell
Jonathan's trying to do back there.
He's trying to get his back sweat.
You trying to do a MacGyver back there, or what are we doing here? Don't worry about it. Okay, got it. Sam says I have samplers available for my overstock, plus I get messages for special orders all the time. So
I bet.
You have varieties. But yeah, to your point, you travel a lot, so you try to go to different, and that's where you might recognize one that you like, and you're like, hey, my home shop doesn't carry that, so now, oh great, this is an opportunity for me to buy 5, 10, 20.
Yeah, like a couple weeks ago, I was up in Akron, and I'm never really overly thrilled to go up to Akron, but when I'm there,
all right. For those of you from Akron, we apologize.
Yeah, apologize to the Akron people, but I did go into the cousin's shop over there on Merriman, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. A little different selection there, great time, and I spent a little money. I brought my sales guy with me. He spent a lot more money than I, and
that's awesome.
I wish I was making his money. I'd have bought more myself, but
Did he buy you any cigars?
No, he didn't even buy my dinner. But we're on expenses, so
damn.
All right, well, you're fine. You're fine.
You want to save now?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so Facebook right now we're going to save, and if you guys have any questions in between this time, that we shoot them to us.
We'll get Sam, thank you very much, Jonathan. What are you? I mean, for those of you on the video, we're trying to figure out what our studio audience is doing here. Are you trying to prop that up? So,
trying to get it right in his back.
You know what you could do is actually put it on that tote, move the Jameson flag, but make sure you don't tarnish it. And you move that elsewhere, and then put the fan on top of that, and you might be in a better shape there. Do you need me to figure anything else out for you? That's it? That's it? Okay.
Namaste.
We'll talk later. We're on break. Sam says, so this is for the video audience here, he's working on a Stogiebird selection that would exclusively have house blends from brick and mortars all over the country. Cigars that would only be available from one shop directly.
BS?
Yeah, we can definitely talk to you about including some BS in there. So, Sam, we are reblending the gold right now. We have the silver by Espinosa. Silver's by Espinosa, who's your monthly manufacturer of the month. So that's great. But we can definitely talk to that. So that's awesome.
Be cool if he could put that in the Espinosa package this month, but I know that
I think that's a little
over.
It's a little tough.
Yeah.
At this point.
If it happens again.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Ready to get going again?
I think so.
So summer is over, Steve. Where did it go?
Jesus.
What?
No, you're fine. You're fine.
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
So we were talking about a couple different ideas for the topic tonight, and it's funny that we picked summer is gone. Wait, what did I say? Where did summer go?
Where did it go?
Where did summer go? Because
where did the topic go?
Well, yeah. Where did summer go? And ironically, here in Columbus, Ohio, it was 90 degrees today, so it is still summer. But it was along the lines of, and that was the other thing that Jake and I talked about, was the whole like don't blink concept.
Yeah,
because it's kind of, for me, when I was thinking about the topic of where did summer go, they always say, but people say that as you get older, the time goes by quicker. Time's fleeting. It goes by quicker and quicker, and it's like a season like the summer that we had here. I thought we had a traditional spring. We had a kind of a rainy season after that, and then it was really, really nice. It wasn't ridiculously hot. It never hit 100 degrees. It wasn't. I mean, it was a summer that was very enjoyable.
It was pretty hot a couple days.
It was, but I mean, we didn't have these huge heat waves where no one wanted to go outside. It was just kind of like everyone was, at least in Ohio, and I don't know where you guys are all at in the audience here, but for here it was one of those things. It was a tough thing for me because last summer I took a couple vacations. I went to the Dominican Republic for an all-inclusive, and then followed that up with a trip to Cuba for the first time. I was at the pool a lot. I mean, we were just having fun. We were starting this podcast. It was still fairly new. I mean, it wasn't brand new, but at this time last year, we were maybe pushing 1,000 views.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was like we were still figuring all that stuff. So it was a lot of activity for me. Where this summer it's coming to a close, and now it's 90 degrees right now, but in a few weeks it's going to probably drop down to the 70s, and then we're in the fall, and then the winter comes and all that stuff. And I feel like I don't know.
That's my season.
Fall.
Yeah.
Well, I love fall too, but it was one of those things where I feel like I didn't enjoy my summer.
Well, you got a house. You bought a house,
right?
You got a lot of shit to do.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, it happens. I mean, I don't think it's one of those things you need to take very seriously. I mean, time goes by, but it's just making sure that when we do this, when we do the podcast, when we do all these other things, it's are you actually now it's time for reflection, right?
Well, and that's part of it, right? I mean, it's for me. And Doug, you were saying some of the same stuff about this summer. You had just bought a house. You just moved into a house.
Well, I bought my house 3 years ago, but it's been 3 years of nonstop projects.
It was 3 years ago already.
It was
Jesus
3 years
Christ.
ago. I mean,
nice.
Yeah, it was June of 2016, and now, in April, I start a new job. And the funny thing is, when I bought the house, I had just started a new job.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, not a boring time for you.
Yeah, just ridiculous. Yeah, and so you buy a new house, but it's not new, and there's a million projects to do.
Yeah.
And you're working on all those projects, and then you start a new job.
Yeah.
Complete new technology for me.
I feel like that's the only problem with summer sometimes because everyone like Steve said, we had a traditional spring, so it was rainy up until June. So you got 2 months to do all this housework that people that they enjoyed doing it, but when it's when you're done with it, summer's over. Yeah, because you got a lot of stuff to do.
Well, I got the new job, and my wife was able to stop working, which was a great thing.
That's
right?
amazing.
And so, it was
Congratulations.
awesome.
That's huge.
Thank you.
That's absolutely huge.
But the problem is now, so she's not going to work every day, so she can look around the house and see all the things that need to be done.
And she chips in.
Oh, she works her ass off.
There you go.
Yeah,
All right.
so
you were leaving that part
No,
out.
I was getting to it. I was getting to it.
Right.
Trust
She's
me.
listening. I'm like,
I think
all right, Doug,
I'm pretty sure somebody's watching. I got to be
careful. It's 2019.
Yes, that's right. No, she works her ass off, but there's all these things she wanted to do, but she couldn't get done because she was working. Now they're getting done, but I get dragged into that, of course, when I'm around. So and I should be, but there's just a lot going on.
Yeah. No, yeah, I get it,
Jake. I mean, you were saying, yeah. I mean, it's not a problem necessarily that I had, or Doug, or you were going through a lot of changes this summer, where it's like when you're consistent and there aren't the projects. There's always projects. There's always some changes and everything.
For me,
it
was my mindset, and I blinked.
Well, and you got a new job too, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a new job, but it took until the end of summer to do that. So it's all through summer was. Going through this podcast, I wasn't even on the podcast for 3 weeks. I was working, so supplementing that income with working at the Tinder Box, and as much as I love working there or loved working there, it's I didn't really get to enjoy my summer nights. So, but that's fine. I mean, I like fall nights too, and now that I get to enjoy them because I'm not in football. That was the only thing that sucked about football was fall nights.
Explain that.
Well, because I never got to enjoy them.
Because you're always working on football.
I was either exhausted or whatever. I mean, we're working with football and stuff like that. So, but now I get to enjoy them, which is exciting.
So one of the things, though, with my summer, and it's obviously there's a literal sense to it, but I think there's also for me, it's that like you said, you're reassessing it now. You're looking back, hindsight, where the thing I don't like about the way I handled my summer, and I think that I'm not alone in that sense of a mindset, is that I kind of let everything just kind of come at me and just respond. Yeah, sometimes a lot of it I was trying to stay ahead of it, and I was trying to stay focused, if you will, on certain things that I want to get done. But one of those things, I didn't plan a vacation, but part of that was because I had bought a house, and so I was trying to budget differently this year.
You knew that going into it.
I knew that going into it, but at the same time, it was
is this your first house?
So no, bought a house with my ex-wife before we were married back in 2004, back when they were giving away houses. I mean, literally, they were like.
When was that? I must have missed that.
2004 when it was subprime.
2004. Okay.
Yeah, you were alive.
Yeah.
Before everything went to shit.
That's actually what caused it to go to shit. They're like, oh, you have no money? Here, okay, we'll finance that part. So the 20% you should have to put down, we're going to finance that on this loan, and then the other 80%, we got you there, too.
Yeah. Here's a D rating, but it's really a double A.
I got you.
Yeah, no. You got to pay everything off. Yeah. Oh, by the way, it's going up. Yeah, so, I mean, we absolutely screwed ourselves in that. So, no, it's not my first house, but after I got divorced, I was renting. And it was supposed to be for a couple years, figuring things out, and then that, again, one of those things where it just you blink, and I think it was like 8 years.
Yeah, and when you got rid of the other house with the divorce, you gave away everything, so you don't own your rakes or lawnmowers or anything anymore.
Well, so that for me, just a quick thing. Yeah, I didn't, right? Honestly, it was one of those things. But that was part of this was a very amiable divorce. We got along to the point where
that's helpful.
The rakes.
That helps a lot.
The rakes. That's the most important.
You buy a house though, and you spend 2 months at Home Depot buying all this shit that you don't have anymore, right?
You're absolutely right. Yeah. So that's where I'm at, kind of again. So it's round 2, round 2.5. I don't know. It was like round 1 was obviously with her, and then it went from apartment to that. And then it went to me renting, where it's like I took care of the lawn to a point, but I wasn't going to really invest a whole lot of time and effort into a rental property that I was renting. So now coming into this, it was more just trying to start again. But with some of these projects, it wasn't even that. It was like with the rainy season, it was like I felt like I couldn't skip a day mowing the lawn because it would be crazy. And then all of a sudden we had no rain, and then it was like nothing was growing. And then all of a sudden, just yesterday I was mowing the back and the side, and that's all I had time for, but I was just trying to squeeze it all in.
I noticed you skipped the front when I pulled up there today.
So Doug's a lawn guy. I actually was going to try to squeeze in.
It was just
mowing.
recently treated, so it's growing well.
I was going to actually...
I wasn't being critical there.
I actually thought about that. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm going to do a Sunday, but like with Doug coming over, he's the lawn... Like, if you ask Doug, anyone in the garage, or if you guys... find him on Facebook. You can message him and ask him for pictures of his lawn, and he will send it to you.
Dave Willard, man.
I like the mentality.
Doug's never invited me over, but Dave's house.
That will be coming soon. I'm planning a little...
3 years later, homecoming.
I finally got my deck built, so I have some place to keep you guys out of the dirt.
But I want to see the garage with the stone on the bottom and everything.
You'll get the full tour, brother. You get the full tour.
Yeah. I guess the point with me is for... The summer came and went, and I didn't necessarily give myself enough balance where I'm actually enjoying more of it. Like, I'm not complaining because I actually really did enjoy my summer, but it was like now that it's coming to an end, it's one of those things that there's not regret, but it's like I wish I would have done something more. I wish I would have snuck in a vacation.
You got to let that shit go. It is what it is.
I'm not holding on to it. It's just I want to make sure going into like the next season. It's a great... Business is the same way, right? Yeah. Like if you've got these ideas that you want to get done, and all of a sudden you're like, all right, no, I'll do it tomorrow, or it's like, hey, I got to focus on this part, but you know that this is coming, and you want to do this in business and your personal life, whatever it is, and then all of a sudden you didn't do the prep work because you weren't focused on that part of it. It's that kind of like, I look at it as we used to talk about a lot more on the podcast, where it's like this summer was me with my hand in my face. Where it was like just whatever is right there, I have to get done. I have to get this done either like today, tomorrow, this week, and that's about as far as I was looking, And then it's when you bring it all the way out, that's where it's like I need to do that more. I think now that I'm kind of recentered with where I'm at living, the job and the shop's doing well, the podcast is hitting a stride, which I like. So there's a lot of different aspects that the hand was in front of my face with all of those things that I was really dealing with on a personal level, and it all like business, the podcast, personal life, relationship. Next thing you know, a week goes by, a month goes by, and it's like I didn't really necessarily keep a good balance of not necessarily just this week, but then also looking at this month, this quarter, 12 months, 18 months. I think it's a direct correlation to the way that you can look at business as well, is that if you're just focusing on the customer that's in your shop right now, I'm not saying neglect that or neglect today.
Are you talking about what are you talking about?
I'm talking about everything, honestly. Oh. It's not a specific thing. I think it's everything encompassing it. So it's like when I allowed everything to just come at me, then it was me responding as opposed to responding and staying ahead, and also planning for the future, because when that future came, whether it be a month or 6 months or 12 months, I didn't do any of the groundwork so that I can actually save for something personally or from a business standpoint. You know, like Smoking 10 event we talk about a lot. I've been on the phone with the fire marshal this week. We worked it out with Easton for that, so that we already have the date for that now. So we're working on that. We're already starting to book vendors, and it's September right now, and we're talking about March, because and I was the one to really push a lot of that with Easton, with Fido, with some of the events. Like, it was like, no, we're talking about it now so that we don't run into the same thing we did last year.
Right.
So I mean, that's kind of like the mentality there, is that what I kind of reflected on from feeling like I missed the summer was that I don't want to miss the fall for the same reasons.
Well, and the thing that you mentioned was the house I'm in, right? Like, wow, it's 3 years. Well, 3 years goes by. The summer went by like a blink. 3 years goes by like a blink. I mean,
yeah.
And so it's easy for it to get away from you. All these things that you want to get done, you gotta sit down and really, like plan them out, figure out, prioritize them, because shit gets away from you.
Yeah.
And you could end up with 3 projects going at once and you get nothing finished.
Well, and do you have any like extracurricular activities that you do? Do you do anything outside?
I am a man of many hobbies and an expert at none of them. So it's I got many. I got a lot of plates spinning.
But time at the shop, and things that people may look at and say, like, well, you don't really need to be doing that, but things that you like doing, like whether watching sports or
I like to play the guitar. There's a lot of things I like to do. And sometimes I just want to sit around and smoke cigars and watch the Mets.
Yeah.
And that's painful in itself.
Not the cigar part.
The Mets, yeah.
Yeah, no, we knew what you were talking about.
But I think, Nate said, like, but you can also have 2 nights at the, talking about
fucking
Steve,
Cubs
like, you have
fans.
two nights at the shop, 1 night of softball and 1 night with the podcast, ad spending time, all that together in relationships.
Yeah.
And, what time is left for, the next. And it's, I think that we're all talking about things that, in Ohio, we kind of have to have, we choose. You always hear people when it hits summer, like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this, I got to do that. And I think that we all try to lump in all this to-do work because we can't really do it in the winter.
Well, you have to get it. I mean, again, like mowing the lawn or landscaping or cleaning the house. Like, it has to get done. If you don't do that, then you're neglecting that part of it.
My perspective on getting things done and having the time to do them is I have a different perspective on a lot of people than a lot of people, because I used to do a 70-mile commute to New York. I worked in New York City and I lived in South Jersey. So 5 days a week I was on doing 4 hours a day of traveling and working all day. And so you had Saturday to basically get your shit done and Sunday to get ready, and you're going back to work. So
you run out of time.
You have no time. And everybody else is doing the same thing. So for me, there's plenty of time. It's just you end up with more projects because you have all this time.
Rob says, adulting sucks, and
it does.
I get it. I mean, it does. Yeah, okay, yeah, you're not. Well, shit, no, because being a kid, yeah, okay, when you're like 8 years old. All right, you're going that far back. Because I'm thinking like when I'm like 14, 15 years old, like summer comes and it's like, oh,
you can't drink and smoke cigars, though, Rob.
Well, you can, but
you
it's
can.
not legally.
Okay.
But what responsibilities do you have when you're 8 years old or 14 years old?
It depends on your upbringing, obviously. I mean, if
should have lived with me.
I'm mowing my lawn. I mean, like there's that. I mean, I'm not saying it's the same thing. And when you lay it out like that, Nate, like that's my adulting, right? So mine looks like what a lot of people I feel like would want to be a part of, right? So it's like, all right, you have Sunday, Mondays off, then Tuesday you work in a cigar shop from 10 to 9. And then it's like Wednesday you work in a cigar shop and you do a podcast about bourbon and
cigars.
And you hang out with your friends in your garage. And then Thursday, this was before Thursday, it's like you work in a cigar shop and then you go play softball with your buddies. And then you work in a cigar shop on Friday. And you have Friday night off. And then Saturday, you have to work all day in a cigar shop. And you get to watch college football while, like, with all of your customers/friends. Obviously, there's more to it than that. I mean, it's just like the guys that are on the road all the time. It's like, oh, man, you rep cigars. Man, you're a rock star. This is amazing. It's like, no, I am constantly on the clock. Like, right now.
I'm trying, Rob.
They're kind of on the clock, but not really. They're all both on their phones. I think they're messaging people. But, I mean, I think that's just part of it. I mean, it's what you make of it. I guess I'm going back to the whole where did summer go? I know leaving this summer right now that I need to walk into next summer, and before that, obviously, but walk into next summer with some goals on. All right, so what am I going to do personally? You know, what am I like? Obviously, I want to, you know, do something around the house, like maybe put a deck on it. I still haven't done that.
Yeah,
but I want to do that. But then when it comes to it, I want to go to a pool. I want to find a beach. I want to, you know, take maybe a small trip. I want to be able to have a night with all the people that come around for the podcast on another night other than the podcast night.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
You know what I mean? Instead of like this is obviously fun to do and we enjoy it, but it's something that it's like when it all comes down to it, it's like there's prep work, there's setup work, there's hang out, and then, you know, finally you have a couple hours, or sometimes it turns into way too many hours afterwards.
Well, it's like Jonathan Herring said. Like he said, I think we all have stress at every age.
You do.
So it's like, you know, always seems dumb when you look back on it, but everyone has stressors at all ages. So it's, you know, I think like looking back, you know, Rob's talking about being like 8 again. It's like if I wasn't playing football in school, like I was working around the house to pay for all my football gear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
And Avi, who.
I'm just saying, well, like Avi, at 8, that's a lot. At 8, like, I don't want to go mow the lawn. I don't want to trim the hedges. I want to relax because I'm sore and beat up from Friday, you know, or not Friday night, but still youth league football from Saturday. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So instead of going to the cigar shop and or getting together with friends and smoking cigars and drinking bourbon, back then it was like I can't get together and play with my friends. I can't play video games. I can't, you know, just sleep in until noon because I am supposed to wake up.
Because my dad wants me up at 10 or 9. Like noon's not.
Boss
a thing.
is really riding you, man.
Noon's not a thing. At all. Now it's fun besides money.
So, Doug, you're the one on the actual podcast here in this garage. Avi says, add kids in the summer and it's super busy between camps and activities and trying to make sure they're not bored. Back then we kept busy. Now they sit around and their brain gets mushed with the electronics. I mean, can you speak to that part of it? Because I think you're the only one that's on the actual podcast here that has kids.
So I had kids. Now my kids are 24 and 26.
You
and
still have kids.
I have offspring.
So it's like talking to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God.
So my son
Here we go.
My son is definitely into the video games. My daughter, she's into the whole social media and YouTube thing. But they're both into the computers and it's.
But how do you think that affected, like, you know, your summer, like when it was they were considered kids? I mean, I know my brother has 2 kids, my niece and my nephew, and I mean, it's like his summer used to be get together, play softball. You know what I mean? Like he's able to. They were just him and my sister-in-law, and they would do stuff around the house, but then they had free time.
Yeah.
And then once the kids come, it's your hands are full. Then they start playing sports. They start having hobbies. Then you become a taxi service. I mean, how walk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, my kids were, when they were younger, it was before all this craziness with the phones. I mean, my daughter, we didn't even let her have texting on her phone until she was 16. So we kept her away from it.
It's extensive.
And yeah. But they did soccer and they did all these other things. So we were busy with all of that stuff. And that definitely took up a lot of our time because the soccer games weren't – at first it started out, it was just rec in town. And then it became, all right, we're driving to Taze Valley, and we're driving all over the place. Yeah. So
and the day's shot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you end up doing it in the beginning of the spring when it's freaking freezing out there and the grass is wet. And I come back and my feet are all waterlogged and frozen from walking in that wet grass. And I'm out there with my little chair being the supportive dad.
Right.
And I'm like, I'd rather be home doing something else. But you got to do it.
That's part of the gig, right?
But yeah, I would much rather see them running around in a soccer field than at that age than sitting around playing video games.
Right.
So we balanced it.
So for both of you too, I mean, here's the question. I mean, what of this summer? What's something that you wanted to do that you didn't get around to? Because again, I think this is very relative walking into a new season. Because I don't want anyone to have the same mentality where they feel like they missed something. You're always going to miss something, right? I mean, you're not going to get around to something. But like, can you guys think of something this summer that you wanted to do more, or wanted to do in general, or specifically? That you did not have a chance to get to.
I was hoping to go away for a vacation. We a few years back went to Ocean Isle Beach, and had a great week down there. And I want to do that again, but it's just not in the cards right now. And for me, I'm not even looking at a vacation next year. I'm looking at my wife and I are going to have our 30th in 2021.
That's
fantastic. So we're going to we're going to go to Maui.
Maui.
That's what I'm planning on.
That's a saver.
Yeah,
that's when you save up for.
So that's what's keeping her around.
That's a long road trip.
I've already told her that's what we're doing, so she's hanging around for that.
You're not taking the kids though.
She's hanging around for the 30th.
Okay.
She's hanging around for the 30th just for Maui.
Yeah, and then I'm out. I guess.
There we go. All right. We'll see you more in the garage in 2 years.
No, I don't know. I think my answer is that, I mean, I got to go to Norris. Like, that's always like my big hoopla of the summer, which that's like my getaway. That's my oasis. Have you ever been to Norris Lake in Tennessee, Doug?
I've been to Tennessee though. The Smoky Mountains. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, it's just north of that, but it's kind of, I don't know. It's my oasis. So I got to do that. I don't know. The only thing I'd say is like I don't know. I made like a personal goal to me that I'd at least like get back into the gym, and I did for a little bit with Steve, and then the job situation happened, so then my mindset wasn't there, and I don't know. I guess like I didn't find and give myself the motivation that I should have. So I guess that's one thing. It's not really what I didn't do. It's more or less, I don't know, more of my mindset.
No, but I think it's all it goes hand in hand, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, because of your mindset, you didn't do the things you wanted to do necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, but besides everything else, like I did it. I mean, I think that, I don't know, and drink. I am younger, so it's like right now it's.
How old are you?
No.
Oh God.
It's the same time. Next time when Steve yells relationships or something, we'll drink too.
Hey, that's fine. You guys can drink all you want when you talk about relationships. Probably will help the conversation.
But I think right now, like finding a new job towards the end of the summer, I think I don't know. I got to do what I wanted to do this summer for most of the time. And I think my mindset's kind of just like I'm not reacting anymore. I guess I should say, like what you were explaining, like with in your house. Like I think it's one thing that has changed about me is that I used to just react to things, and it's like instead of focusing on either what I want to do or what my intentions are or something like that is it not plugged in?
There you go. You're good.
All right, my
You're
bad.
good.
So I think like going into summer and my mindset about summer and just time in general, because really what is we're talking about time. And so going through time and summer, I think that with my age right now and understanding that I just like need to focus and like choose my ways instead of just reacting to the world, it's something it makes it easier on my life to not react to the time.
Yeah.
Right? And if it goes by, it goes by. Like for right now, but as long as I'm happy with it, then I'm good.
I think the thing to come to grips with is that there's only so many things you can control.
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a really important point.
Yeah, you can only control what you can control.
Yeah,
and that's what I mean. Like, I really get bummed out when I hear people like because there's always something that you can do, right? And I get bummed out by like the people that. What? Go ahead.
I was going to say, what do you mean by that? Finish that because you might be getting to that.
Well, what I mean is like when the people out that are like self-motivated and they're always doing something and they're very hands-on and they're very meticulous about things, so they're always doing something. They have the mindset that, much like you, Steve, like you want to set goals going into the next year. So it's like you're like you think of the shit that you missed out on, but like Are you focusing on the stuff that you did? Are you focusing on the stuff that you accomplished? Like, that's the perspective thing. So it's like I'd sometimes get bummed out by like people that are always doing something and they never talk about the things that they have accomplished in the time that they did it in. They're just talking about the future, and it's like, look what you've done. So it's like
I think good.
So I think like maybe I'm like misconstruing the perspective of them because they do appreciate it, but when they don't say it or mention it at all, it's like, you've done all this stuff and you're still like not happy with it, and it's or you're still like looking to do more, which is great and all, but look back on like what you did. Like look back, like even if you didn't notice it, like you can. That's the point of memory, is like you can look back at photos or look at your Instagram or Facebook and say, man, that was a good time.
No, I agree completely. I mean, for me, it's not necessarily one or the other. I mean, there are people that are just constantly never happy, and you look at it, you're like, dude.
Well, they're
yes,
always working on something. Which is great.
But
I mean, you become successful that way.
But I think anyone that's actually going to be constructive on it is that, like, so for the example of our actual topic, you know, looking back at your summer from a personal, if you want to drink, from a relationship standpoint, from a business standpoint, from every aspect of it, when you look back at your summer, are you pleased? Are you holding yourself accountable? I mean, to speak to your point, right? I mean, it's.
No, talk to me. Come here.
I'll talk to you. So for that point, I mean, like, you're happy with the Norris Lake thing. I mean, with these people you're talking about, it's you know, and Doug, you had a very busy summer. You've had a big career summer.
Yeah,
I'd say in year.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the projects? What projects have you done?
Work.
What my point is that when you look back at the summer or any period of time, but pick this for the topic. When you look back at the summer, are you pleased with it? Yes or no? First of all, just simple yes or no, both of you.
Absolutely yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Yeah. I am too. I mean, not saying. I mean, everything I said before, but I'm still pleased with myself. But I think the self-reflection part of it, and having that mindset of moving forward and being productive and everything else, that's part of it. You know, it's looking back, holding yourself accountable on that self-reflection, but. Yes and no. I think when you dive deeper, there's more to it.
Well, so for the perspective I have, which I'm not sure about you guys, but I've had since 2012, I've had a lot of loss around family members and stuff.
Okay,
sorry to hear that.
So
feel free to share.
Just
as
recently,
much
my
as
brother passed away.
I know.
So for me, that I take that, and it makes me realize that what I have around me is profoundly important. And so by knowing that, I don't really look at time as a, you know, time doesn't slip away from me. I have my family around me.
Yeah.
And so if I don't get anything done, if I'm home a lot and shit doesn't get done, but I'm there with my family, it's cool.
That's the priority, number one.
Number one.
I value that a lot.
Me too.
Because I did that a lot this summer.
Yeah, and as long as I'm there, my job kept me away a little bit, but it's one of the reasons I chose it was that I know that I'll be able to be home a fair amount.
Yeah.
I'm going to travel a little, but not as much as I used to, and I'll be around my family. So
yeah, that's good.
I think that's huge. I mean, that's and maybe that just brought something up in my personal life is that, you know, it was 2 summers ago, you know, that I lost my father. You know, my dad passed away on June 7th, and so, you know, I've still got the and I think I may have mentioned this before on the podcast, is that if you look at my car right now, between my driver's seat and the armrest is still the program from the funeral. Mm-hmm. And that's 2 years ago. And it's something simple as that, you know, when I look at that, I mean, I get that time goes on, and I didn't visit the gravesite as much as I did a year ago. I may not call my mom as much as I want to. I may not say, you know, I love you to Liz, or, you know, like.
Dustin and I went out for his birthday.
Yeah. Yeah.
You and I went out there for.
That was amazing. And it impacts people that you don't necessarily realize as much as it does. And so, I mean, I think that's a very, very good point, that, you know, when you think about that part, I think it does prioritize some of the things. It re-centers you.
You have to, once you have determined in your life what's the most important thing, the rest of it is just noise.
Yeah. But it does complement it. I mean, you want to frame the rest of the decisions. You know, find the time to if you enjoy cigars, smoke a cigar. If you enjoy a good glass of bourbon, you know, try new things. You know what I mean? Try to enjoy the life that is passing you by, if that's the mentality that you do have.
Yeah. I know one thing, like, Alicia started implementing this summer is because we got, like, new deck chairs.
Yeah.
And Steve hasn't been over to see him yet, but he needs to.
All right. Party at Jake's after the podcast, everyone.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is like, what she implemented.
Plenty of people coming over.
What she implemented was, because my schedule is like completely opposite now, where I'm like 5 or 6:30 p.m. to 5 a.m. 4 days a week. So if I want to stay sane throughout the weekend, I kind of have to stay on that same schedule at least like 2 or 3 in the morning on the weekends, just to keep the schedule going. But what she starts doing is she goes out in the morning, she makes a cup of coffee, and she sits, and because she wakes up at like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So like I'm asleep for another like 3 or 4 hours. But like that's her, like as much as this time is like my reflection, that's her time.
Well, two of you guys actually had. I mean, that's so cool that she does that. But you two actually had an interaction on a podcast not too long ago about the whole recentering thing. If you guys remember that,
me and Alicia.
No, you and Doug.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I might have been drinking.
You were definitely drinking, I think. No, but it was something about like recentering and what it takes and being by yourself. And you were down, if I recall, down in the Smoky Mountains.
Yes, that was a great.
I mean, talk to us about that, because sometimes
I like that a lot.
Because I'm looking at this now that we're kind of moving past the necessarily like miss it, like where the hell did summer go type thing. Is now we're entering fall. You know what I mean? So it's I guess habits or things that you do intentionally to have those moments like Alicia has.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for those that didn't hear the conversation, I mean, Doug, you weren't on the podcast, but we did discuss it on the podcast.
You had a really good comment.
Absolutely. So we're talking about recentering, and I think that's something that's a key point moving into the next season consistently, is to have those moments. But you were down in the Smoky Mountains, is that right?
Yeah. My wife and I were going through a real rough patch, and she wanted to go to counseling. I didn't believe in counseling for some reason. I just, in my mind, I thought it was a bunch of hooey. And it's an old word, hooey.
Baba Booey,
hooey, whatever. And so it was a 4-day man's weekend down at a buddy has a family cabin down there in the Smoky Mountains. So we Whiskey in the Woods. You've heard of it, Brad?
I have heard of it.
And everybody went to go hiking somewhere, and I just sat on the screened-in area and smoked a cigar and had 2 or 3 hours to myself, and had plenty of time all by myself, and had enough time to think about things, and decided.
Give us a picture. Like, is it music or is it just silent? Like, you're just
pure
listening?
Silence,
man.
Pure silence.
Smoking a cigar.
Should
you have a whiskey?
Coffee. It was 8 o'clock in the morning.
With a little whiskey in it?
No whiskey in it. Yeah,
a little bit of whiskey, but whatever.
There might have been whiskey in my bloodstream from the night before.
All right, whatever.
But just had a few hours by myself to reflect, and no distractions, just pure thought, and decided that I would do what you wanted to do and give it a shot, because I didn't want to lose what I had. We had too much time together, and it was just. I was being stubborn. I was, being headstrong.
You think you wasted some of that time?
You know what?
Leading up to that point, or
I don't look at it that way.
Fair.
It's everybody travels the road they travel, and you learn, right?
I like that a lot.
If you knew everything, you would never have any problems, right? So
fair enough.
And so I came back from there and came home and told her what I had been thinking about, and we did what we did, and 3 years later, things are so much better. So it just pulled it in.
Yeah, it's a powerful
That's awesome.
story.
But I like that you mentioned the fact that like everyone's like got their own path. Like I don't think we talk about that enough. Like because it's always like what the perception of like what you should do or like what is happening in the world, and it's like, no, this is what I'm going through. This is what you're going through. So what? What's right for me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, and that was right for you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we talked about on the podcast with discussing.
Yeah.
Well, even Doug's comment, like recentering and understanding that like people have their different things, whether, it'd be sitting alone in a certain amount of time or whether you need to be surrounded by people. And remember what I said, like my perfect one was if I was alone but then around people.
Yeah.
So like if I like was in a like so if everyone's sitting in here and I go outside and sit.
Yeah, that's
you know
right.
What I mean?
That's right.
So like I'm within a group, but also, what's he saying?
No, nothing. Rob said, "Where'd the summer go?"
Oh.
No, I think that night, and that's the whole thing of it is that it's a constant, and again I keep bringing it up, it's a constant balance, right? I mean, you had that huge moment in your life, Doug, that you have just absolutely ingrained in your memory right now, and probably the rest of your life. That pivotal point, right? And there'll be smaller points, maybe even big ones that are going to have a similar feel because you know what worked for you. And I think that was the conversation that night. Is that as long as that's not all the time, you know what I mean? You don't you listen to people around you, and you said, Doug, it's not necessarily like that you were regretting like or wasting time and the time leading up to that, but it's like that time had happened, and now you're at that moment, and you made a decision based on your self-reflection.
Well, it comes down to facing yourself, right? So I'm an engineer, right? So I'm a fix-it guy. I'm a solutions guy. So
at all costs.
At all costs, yeah. And I'm not. Sometimes I'm just not a listener. And you know, one of the things I learned is that my wife would tell me some things she was having trouble with, and I stopped listening and started building solutions. And I learned real quick that I just need to shut the fuck up sometimes and just listen. And
it's true.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, people around you don't always want you to fix the problem, and I don't care.
I fight it every day, brother. Every day I fight it. Every day.
Well, but it's everyone around you sometimes too. At work, you know what I mean. People are like, anytime someone's venting, I think it's natural for most people to not just sit there and look at them blankly, you know what I mean, or just nod their head because you feel like you're not actually helping, like they're talking to you for a reason.
Well, what I learned in counseling was to ask questions.
Yeah.
Not tell them what they should do, but ask them more questions.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Because it's just more about the venting process, and it's about being around the people you care about. It's not about you.
I'm not going to say I'm perfect. I still screw it up every now and then. But
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not about you at that point,
not
right?
Me, right? No way.
You're never wrong. You just admit you're wrong to make other people feel better.
That's how I make my living, telling people what they should do.
There you go. You're doing well at it.
No, it's great. It's hard to kind of quantify like our topic, like being where did the summer go, because it you can dive into so many different aspects of it, but I think what it truly comes down to is time, right? And I think that when we're talking about time, it goes to that point of saying, well, is there ever a time that you're doing something? It doesn't have to be summer, but are there times that you are actually doing something and you are actually realizing what's going on? Like, think about that for a second.
Say that again.
So, like, when you're doing something or a project or anything, like, are you just doing, or are you actually thinking about what's going on? And I think that, like when I'm, what, Rob?
Oh, no. Interacting with the studio audience. Get that guy a microphone.
I'm not mad. I'm just asking.
No, don't get him a microphone. Got it.
All right. No, but I'm thinking like if you're out back, and like I remember like cutting one summer I was cutting down a tree with my dad, right? And for some reason or whatever, I thought that I wanted to like stand my phone up, and we cut it like at the base. It was a pretty tall tree, like I'd say 50 feet or so. It was in my neighbor's.
You wanted to document it.
Yeah, I wanted to document it. I thought it was cool. So like we cut it just barely, and I shoved it over, and it was cool. But it's like, not only do I have that kind of memory, but now I have something to like that I have documented for myself. So I think that it's something like that. It's something simple as cutting down a tree. Like, I'm not saying like everyone just film everything, but
I don't know.
It's cool when you do it.
Like, not to the extreme that it happens now, but I mean, before, Instagram and before Facebook and everything else, and I'm not going to talk bad about that because they're people that are. It's not even that. People watching on Facebook right now, I can't dog that. I mean, obviously, I think there's value to a lot of that stuff, but it's that person in your family. You're going on summer vacation. Talking about summer. And you look back, I mean, Doug, you are the oldest person here.
I am 57 years old.
Very handsome, 57 years old.
I shave my head so I look younger.
I do too already, and I'm not that old. But my point is that there's always that person in the group, typically with the family or whatever, like an aunt, a cousin, a brother, sister, mom. I guess typically, at least in my generation, it's like the mom wanting to take pictures, right?
Yeah, mine
and
too.
Everyone's just like, come on, Mom, like stop taking pictures and all that stuff. You want that now.
Yeah.
And even now, I think there's a little bit of a backlash to a lot of the Instagram and a lot of that social media stuff that it's like, all right, I'm tired of it. Everyone like documenting everything they eat. Like, you can take to the extreme of documenting every lunch you eat for 2 years, and everyone's like, I don't care what you're eating. But when it comes to experiences like that, Jake, I would say that's cool. I mean, that's really, really neat. I mean, it's like, hey, families, with the family at Christmas. I mean, like I have actually this framed multiple pictures, framed pictures, right, of at my grandmother's house, all of the cousins would be on the staircase, and they'd just be from the top to bottom, all the cousins, and it was just year after year. That was the picture you took, and it was
awesome.
like.
That's cool.
It's amazing,
really cool.
but at the time when you're growing up, like Rob, 8 years old, or it's like then you're all of a sudden you're like 14 and you're too cool for anything else, and I was not cool. I mean, middle school was tough.
Did you have blonde curls then?
No. 14, I actually was. I think I was turning the corner. I'm still not cool at this point, but I mean back then I definitely wasn't cool. You go back a couple years where I was 12 years old. It was like glasses, braces, part in the hair, like absolutely. Hair. Everyone's got their awkward phase, right? And I had that. But even then, I was like, I don't want a picture and all that stuff.
Not Nate.
It's that
Nate,
mentality.
Nate always looked good.
It's that mentality that I think when you're looking at all of this is that you can take time to if you're not, and again, I'm not saying document everything, little thing you do and you're too busy enjoying that as opposed to enjoying life, but take a moment to take a picture of something that you're doing with the people you're around.
The thing that's going on now that really irritates the shit out of me.
All right, here we go. I love it. What grinds your gears here?
Well, I've been to a bunch of concerts in the last couple of years, and these people won't put the fucking phone down and watch the show.
I had to break up a fight over that.
Oh my God! I went to ELO recently, and it was a show that I've been wanting to see these guys since I was 15 years old, which is a long time ago, and everybody around me is just looking at their phone instead of looking
taking
at
video.
The show.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's an amazing show. Put the phone down. Stop it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
So Jonathan says, but why are you posting it? That's the question for me.
Well, and Rob, yeah.
I think that's kind of what you're saying. It's like, yeah, if you want to record it or whatever for you to look back at, but know the majority of the people there are doing it just to post it on, even like an Instagram stories, and it's gone
They're looking
within
for
24
the likes.
hours. Yeah.
Everybody's hooked on the likes. It's
That's
enough
true.
already.
But I mean, you don't really know what's really going on. Like I when Alicia and I went to, we went to Ariana Grande for her birthday in Cleveland, and I was taking a video, and I do like 3 songs, and I'll do like 30 seconds, and I'm done.
Yeah. You got to enjoy the moment. You got to. Because that's where the time disappears.
I see exactly what you're saying.
If you're not enjoying the moment, all of a sudden it's gone, and you look at the phone and go, "Oh yeah, I was there for that, but I didn't really watch it. Now I'm going to watch it on my phone." That's fucking stupid. I'm sorry.
I like it. It's a different perspective.
I love the attitude.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it
fucking
under
stupid.
control.
No, get after it. Yeah. Let's go.
But Rob hit it right on the head when he said, like, when he was explaining the whole thing, it's like finding the moments in something that wasn't meant to be a moment. And there's a lot of things I think that we go through day-to-day basis that could be really beautiful moments, but we don't, like, I mean, and God knows we don't have time for anything. But
you're saying like making things bigger than they are?
Sure.
For likes?
Sure. Not for likes. You can put it that way.
Finding the moments in something that wasn't meant to be a moment.
I'm talking about like me cutting down a tree with my dad, and I wanted to remember that.
You know why you want to remember that,
but
though.
that is
that's
to me
huge.
that's great. That's great. I
did post it because I thought it was cool.
My father was
cool.
a scoutmaster. I grew up in the city in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and my father.
I think they can tell from your accent.
Yeah, and Jersey accent might be a little prevalent.
The more you drink, too, I love it.
Oh, Jesus!
Get this
I
guy
really
another
don't
drink.
notice it that much.
Oh
to be
God,
honest.
I do.
Maybe it's
awesome.
I don't know.
You're just used to me.
I haven't seen you in like a month.
Well, when you did, you got used to me. I guess.
It's like a strong scent.
Well, you brought whiskey, so
You're used
there you
to.
go. But my father was a scoutmaster. There was 3 or 4 of them that started this scout troop up, and inner city kids never been anywhere.
Yeah.
And we ended up like doing fishing trips in Canada, and opened the scope of a lot of these kids' world that never had a chance to do any of this crap.
Yeah.
And we had a ton of pictures because that was the other thing, was to take pictures so everybody had a memory of this.
Yeah.
And that's the film days, right? I mean, it wasn't selfies and all this other horse shit. But
Yeah, I got a couple boxes downstairs from even the move. You know what I mean? That was something that high school and in college, and like washing my first car that I bought. You know what I mean? It was one of those things
that's
that
gigantic.
I mean, it was my brother and I washing. It was '86 Cadillac Fleetwood, right? Nora, and my mom was out there just taking pictures while we were washing this car I bought for $1,500. And I love those pictures.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it because it's something like looking at like old photo albums. You know what I mean? I think that's I was
going to start in on that because of my grandfather. Like,
Yeah.
I wish you could have seen some of those photo albums from like World War II. I mean, some of that stuff.
We trust the cloud so much now. We're posting everything, and we trust
incredible.
that Zuckerberg's going to keep showing us memories. But it's one of those things that 30 years from now, when you have kids, or it's like you're in your later years, and no matter what the time period is can you pull those up? Can you open a cabinet and be like, show friends or family or whatever? Is like those types of things. I mean, that's that. I guess that this whole conversation is very much relevant to where'd the summer go, because if you don't, I mean, this is something that I didn't prepare to talk about, but like the document the memories. There's a very, very valid point, and there's a value there for me that you want to document some of this stuff, that you want to actually have those, because sometimes you don't even realize that you had a great summer. But it's had a great season.
So my niece is in the process of reading a book, and she posted about it on Facebook, and I thought it was interesting. And it's about how much more you can get from doing less. And
say that again.
You can enjoy your life more. You can get more out of your life by doing less things. Because we're too busy. We got too much going on, and maybe that's why summer seems to go by. We're all too fucking busy. Maybe we just need to chill a little bit and do less.
Well, and then when we're not busy,
and then we're like,
we're thinking about being busy.
That's right. Yeah, we don't know how to calm it down. We don't.
So there's a balance again there.
You don't know how to be just idle.
This summer was the first summer that I actually just said the hell with it.
Yeah,
and was like, all right, I'm just.
But you were stressed like a motherfucker.
I was stressed, but I was yes, right. but the important key is when I wasn't doing anything, I wasn't thinking about the bullshit.
That's good.
That's huge, because if you can just do nothing and not stress about doing nothing, that's huge.
Yeah, but everybody always says that it's negative because you're not doing anything. Like, what do you really want? Well, you should always be doing it all the fucking time.
Bullshit.
Kevin says, energy is our only resource. Invest it in the people and things you care about. Stop investing in the people and things that don't really matter. And I think that's
bingo.
That's a huge point. That's a huge point.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. So
Kevin.
Yeah, he said he was going back to what Doug said. He said, who cares what other people do and post, etc., investing too much time in people and things with little or no effect on their lives, except that you give those people things control by caring.
Yeah, for me, it's not about caring. It's about I can't see the fucking stage because they hold their phone right in front of me. I can't see. Yeah, lower the phone just a little bit.
Dude, that was the finale of a show. The one concert I think I went to this summer was, and I think I told you, Jake, about this, is that we were in the lawn, and sure enough, there was someone that was they were actually talking amongst themselves throughout the entire show, and then more alcohol happened.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, the girl holds up the phone behind these other two guys with the light on, the flash was on.
Gosh.
Yeah, all right.
The light on.
Game over.
So it was one of those things where it's like, the guy turns around, and they were just talking like 20 minutes prior, and like, buddy with there was a couple and a couple of dudes, and he turns around and he's like, turn your fucking light off or whatever. And so then all of a sudden you got Billy Badass Boyfriend, and he says something after it's all said and done. So the whole show's over, and then they start, you don't need to talk to her that way. He's like, I just told her to turn the fucking light off. It was right in my eye. I was trying to watch the show. And all of a sudden he gives him a big slap on the back. We're on the grass, a little wet. He falls on his ass. And this is not a story about me, but these are the things that I encourage them to do, is I was sober enough to just kind of step right in and not even look at Billy Badass back there. But I just went to that guy. I was like, yeah, we're not doing that tonight. Not doing it. And he's like, no. Yeah. Okay. I was like, I literally looked at him. I was like, we're going to become best friends right now for about at least 30 seconds. And he was like, all right. I was like, what'd you think of the show? He's like, yeah, it was all right. I mean, we started like making small talk or whatever. And in the meantime, the girlfriend was like, you fucking embarrassed me, blah, 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 blah. And they went off on their own. And then the buddy comes over. He's like, thanks, man. I was like, yeah, I didn't want to get in a fight. Did you? He's like, no, God, no. I don't want to. Like, it was a great show. We all had a good time. I was like, cool. Show's over. I'd buy you a beer, but they're done serving. So you guys have a good night.
I am upset that we missed Country Jam.
Yeah,
because we had a blast last year.
Yeah.
They canceled it, but it's upsetting. It was a lot of fun. So, getting on to our ending comments, right?
Closing comments. Yeah. Absolutely.
Alrighty.
Before we do that, I actually am really enjoying this cigar.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm glad. I hate when I recommend something and everybody goes, it was okay. Yeah,
that's most of the things you recommend, though.
Yeah, typical. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. This is
looks
good.
like your guys are smoking. Mine's not smoking the best.
Yeah,
I think you're talking more than us. That's all.
Okay.
Nate, you got something? What you got, Nate?
Do you guys ever find yourself getting so busy on vacation or a weekend when you're supposed to relax, and then you find that you're more tired or you were more hectic when you were on vacation
All the time
than when you were supposed to be relaxing and having a good time for yourself? But you're like, no, I didn't get a chance to relax whatsoever. Now I feel like I need a vacation from my vacation.
That's why I don't like cruises. I've been on a cruise, and I spent the whole time just trying to make all our what do you call them, the excursions?
Yeah, excursions.
It's like we missed an excursion on our cruise, and it was the best day out of the whole cruise.
As long as you don't miss the boat after an excursion,
that's right.
You're on point. You're all right.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, I don't have a problem with being lazy when it comes to stuff like that. So to answer your question, Nate, I have a really
confident statement.
Hard line where I'm just like, I don't care. Do you like that, Rob?
I think that comes across most weeks here and every day of your life.
I'm done.
Speaking of which, Mock from New York says one thing, not a criticism, but Jake missed the fedora.
Oh, okay.
I think that's
appreciate
coming back in the fall. That's going to come back in the fall.
That.
I'll come back. We'll wear our hats.
Yes.
There you go.
Mark's got a beautiful black fedora. It's awesome.
For me, I mean, that's
Mark.
Yeah, he said lay off the accents. He's from New York. Yeah.
Mock.
So he reps. He's a retired police officer, and then he reps on the side line of duty cigars.
Yeah.
So
Mark
awesome.
Fazio,
Yeah.
Cool dude, man.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
That's the guy. Yeah.
Paisan.
Sure.
Yeah,
you know him. But yeah, to the answer on my part is if you're that kind of person, the smartest thing you can do, in my opinion, is actually schedule vacation with wherever you work, and at least have one day after that. So if you come back on a Sunday, take that Monday off. Have this plan. This is something that you can plan for.
That's good advice.
Don't maximize it so that you come back Sunday even at noon or whatever, and then you have to get back you have to be at work on 8 a.m. on Monday, or like for the guys that are traveling, you have to be back on the road first thing the next morning. Yeah, you're fucking yourself. I mean, that's just the way it works.
My parents finally learned that, like going to Norris every year, because it's like because you want to be there for as long as possible because you don't want to come back, and we would try to boat on Sunday and then drive 8 hours home, and then they would try to go to work on Monday.
You just build up the stress, right? I mean, it's like, again, if you've got a home or you have other responsibility, laundry, whatever it is, it's like you come back and it's like you're dead tired. You got maybe jet lag, or you're just tired from traveling, and you're hungover or whatever it is. You're just exhausted from really experiencing that vacation.
Yeah,
Nate. I mean, that's the thing. And then all of a sudden you have laundry to do when you get home, and you have to mow your lawn, you have to clean the house, and it's like all of a sudden you have this stress that has to hold on for at least 5 days, and all of a sudden you're just thinking about what I want to do, but I have to be at work, and I mean, you got to be ahead of it.
That's right.
If you're thinking about that stuff, I don't think you're drinking enough.
That's what I'm.
I mean,
so what I'm saying is that you don't. Are you drinking enough on vacation?
Yeah,
I'm saying leading up to the vacation, you plan ahead. Okay. Now, if you're drinking at that level all the time, you probably aren't going to think about the day after.
It's all about conditioning.
I'm not condoning alcoholism. I'm just saying, if you're on vacation and a drink's not in your hand, it's, I don't know.
To each their own.
Yeah,
you're
fucking up.
To each their own.
Give me that bottle, man.
Give me that bottle, man.
There it is. There it is. All right. So before we get into closing remarks, we've still got a good viewership going. I do want to thank, Doug. Thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing the bottle that you're pouring right now, the Western Reserve 8-year bourbon.
Yep.
I've enjoyed that bottle.
I like it, and I really like it with a cigar.
Yes.
I think the cigar.
Yes.
Great pairing.
This is one of those things where we talk about that the bourbon. It depends on what's allowing the other to become vibrant, right?
That's right.
It's what are you pairing with it? So is it the bourbon pairing with the cigar, or is it the cigar pairing with the bourbon?
This is about as an accidental pairing,
All right,
as we can do, because we didn't even know. Doug said that's what I'm bringing. I'm like, great, and he knew about the Stogie Bird because obviously we've already been over that he's a part of it, but so he knows the randomness of this package that we told Sam Lucia that we weren't going to open the box until we actually started recording. So this is about as random as we can get with a cigar and a whiskey, unless a guest says, I'm not telling you what I'm bringing.
Yeah.
That's the next step, but this is about as close to a random pairing, and I tell you, I think it works.
It does.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear it.
So thank you for being a part of it. And
I got a random pairing for you too. That just on an anecdote. I don't know. It's probably 10 years ago. A bunch of buddies of mine. We had a Scotch club out of Pickerington.
Yeah.
It started out as a discovery learning thing, and then eventually it just turned out to be a reason to get together and get hammered on my patio. But
like a Whiskey Wednesday.
yeah, sort of like that.
That turned into a podcast.
But it was Scotch. It wasn't bourbon. Yeah. And so one day I just I know they're coming over. I go over to Giant Eagle and I get a bunch of olives at the olive bar, and I get pepperoni slices and all that kind of crap, cheese and all that shit. And I set up a nice tray, and I'm sitting
lovely.
there, and one of the olives I got was those Calamatas, the purple olives. And I'm chewing on a couple, and I got a Balvenie double wood Scotch. And I just eaten a couple olives, and I take a sip of the Scotch, and my head explodes. Because it's the brininess of those olives with the smokiness of the Scotch. Balvenie double wood is really smoky.
Good blow up or bad blow up?
Unbelievably good. And I've shared this with a bunch of people, and everybody that's tried it has been blown away by the combo. So if you get a chance, try Kalamata olives with a nice Scotch, and you'll be blown away by the combo.
Nice smoky Scotch, right?
Balvenie Doublewood is not smoky.
No.
It's just something about the
Doublewood's
nature
a 12
of
W?
12 year.
12 year Doublewood.
2 casks, sherry and oak.
So good.
Oh,
The
amazing.
Balvenie lineup is amazing, in my opinion.
Can't go wrong. But any Scotch. And the smoky Scotches, the peaty Scotches are even better with it.
And what about Doug's got one where it's the Abunda?
Abelor Abunda. I know I'm not saying it right, but
it's with the 12 year.
It's like 120 something.
That's the cast
proof.
strength. It's not a 12 year. It's a cast
I know,
strength.
But he does a blend.
The blend.
He does a blend.
Yeah, so I take the Abunda and I mix it with the Balvenie. The Abelor 12.
Yeah.
And just 50-50.
That cast strength's good enough on its own. I will say that.
It
Both
is, but it's a little
enough.
hot. It's a little hot.
Yeah, I get.
But the mix of the two is like tremendous. And you're saving yourself a little money because that shit's expensive.
I got to tell you with that Abuna, real quick side story. You say it's hot. So we had that at my old place with the pool party, right? So my buddies bought that when I got the GM promotion, and we had these glasses, and there were these like Walmart or Target plastic glasses for the pool that we had at the old house, and there had already been like those like dishwasher cracks in these plastic glasses. And I'm standing in the pool, my hands were dry, and someone came up with a bottle, like, hey, you want some more of that? I was like, absolutely. And all of a sudden, my hands started getting wet.
Oh, no.
Shit was eating through whatever cracks were in that glass. So when I talk about strong, it's not necessarily the proof of it. I mean, it is up there, but the fact that it was just like that glass, the integrity of the glass was fine for water or anything else. Yeah. But you put that cast strength Abelur in there. Yeah, that glass was done. Like my hand was wet. I'm like, I didn't.
Did you go into?
I look at the glass and it's like beating down the glass.
Did you go into emergency mode and just slam the drink, or?
I don't think I shot. No, God, I didn't shoot it. No,
you don't want that going.
I was still
the whole
being
thing
a
going
gentleman.
into the pool, right?
I was still being a drunk gentleman, but gentleman nonetheless.
Yeah.
Closing remarks.
Jesus, what?
Go.
I was just letting it go on there.
That's a good memory right there.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. I enjoyed that.
Who's Dennis Weatherspoon?
Dennis is a new Facebook friend. Yo, Steve, excellent episode so far. Bourbon, olives, and cigars. What's not to like?
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Dennis, thanks for tuning in out and listening to the closing remarks here.
Yeah, thank you.
That's amazing, yeah.
Thanks again, Doug, for bringing this bourbon. I do like it. I mean, I think if you've ever had like George Dickel bourbon, I think that this is what. Remember, we have the recipe number 12 on here.
We had the 12 and the 8.
Yeah,
we did the same thing. We did two on that.
I think
episode.
that this is.
Right,
I think that
He's got a drink now.
I think that this is a little bit more than what the 12 was missing, and that's just the recipe. That's not the year that it's aged, folks. But
correct.
I think that it's good bourbon.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doug, for bringing it, and Stogiebirds and San Lucia. That's awesome. But I think, like, where did the summer go? I think for me, I've voiced it a little bit, and I'll be brief. Where it's mostly about time. I mean, it's really about the mindset and the perspective of understanding what's going on. Like, know that you accomplished a lot of things. I think and know where you are in life too. Like, I think that with with me, it's and I know I say it a lot, but I think that with being around like you guys and being around like older folks, more experienced folks, I think that I get lost in my own mindset where I think that I always have to be like at this level because like you guys have accomplished a lot of stuff in my life and I'm just starting out. And I think that this summer, even though that I didn't get back into the gym and get into the nutrition and the weight loss that I was wanting to get into, I think that mentally I got into the right mindset and did enough reflecting and now I understand that my patience has to be a little more than most people my age because I'm around all of you. Yeah. So I think that understanding that goes links into like all of our viewers, like understanding where you are in your life and understanding like what's going on in your life and understanding what's really going on. I mean, take a moment and really, really focus in and hone in on what's going on. And don't be afraid to, you know, piss your husband off or piss your wife off if you want to take a picture. I mean, we were
be that guy.
Yeah,
be that girl.
Because 30 years from now, someone's going to look at that picture and be like, "Wow," you know what I mean? You know.
Well, hopefully you might be that person.
And my
right?
my mom is always that person. Like even at my grandfather's funeral last weekend, she was like, "Can you take a picture?"
Yeah, I need a memory
at the service. So it's like, yeah,
yeah.
I give her shit, but. I'm glad that I have that picture. So I think that it really comes to documenting. Don't be obnoxious to piss Doug off.
Oh, be obnoxious.
But
Doug's a pro.
But I think that everything, and I think the people that we surround ourselves with, and I think that our viewers are all doing great things. Because if you're viewing this, I value your opinion. I think
Absolutely.
that we only have valued people in this community. And so just... don't be too hard on yourself. Good Lord. Drink a glass of bourbon or scotch. I don't really care. And light up a cigar. Have fun.
Doug, figure it out, yeah. Doug, how about you?
For me, really, the key to enjoying your summer is not to put too much in the way of expectations, right? Just chill and enjoy it and make plans. Do what you can get done, and what doesn't get done gets done at some point. But as far as what you're saying, Jake, I mean, at your age, you're a lot more in tune with things than a lot of people your age, and I appreciate that.
Of any age, really, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm just harder on myself.
Well, and I understand that because
yeah.
I'm brutal on myself as well. But yeah, enjoy the fellowship of your friends, the fellowship of your family, and don't get all consumed in the time and what you do and don't get done. Just whatever happens, and it's going to be right.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, so I'm going to take a path that Jake says sometimes that I'm a little more structured, and so the way I look at this
not
is
a bad thing.
No. But it's a little different mentality, and there's a little bit of a lineage there, in my opinion. So
it makes it fun.
Yeah. And we didn't really talk about Stogiebird as much, so we need to actually get back on that before we get off the podcast. So Jake, if you don't mind going over that one more time when we actually we get to the end of this. But so when I look at this stuff, when I was thinking about the subject of where did summer go, it brings me back to the business mentality, and I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. It's not about not enjoying life, but it's about framing the mentality of how sometimes I need a tool, and I know I'm not alone in that, but first and foremost, I think when you look at like a company stance, and we got some of the guys from the cigar industry laughing. That's awesome. But I look at a mission statement. You know what I mean? That's how you want to actually how do you want to live your life daily? That's your core, right? So any of this stuff, when I'm entering into fall, that's what I'm going to actually really kind of look at. Is the mission statement is that when I'm entering into fall, it's like the mission statement is how I want to live my life. And then I look at the monthly projections. This is the way I create a balance in my life, is that can I pay my bills? Can I save a little bit of money so that I'm actually accomplishing things on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? And then also the experiences. Like I want to make sure that with September, I don't have another month go by where I'm like, if I didn't take pictures, I don't realize it. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that I have the memory. So you chopping that tree down with your dad, whether or not you have the pictures or I see the picture on social media, that happened and you actually enjoy it. You actually take the time to appreciate what you're doing. It doesn't have to be a lavish vacation or this huge, like, hey, I just went out and I just dropped $500 at dinner with my significant other or with some friends. It's not about that. It's actually the experiences. And then the seasons for me is like quarterly projections. And I know this is not a romantic metaphor, but I think this is a way that you can frame it. You know, if you need some help, is that what do you want to accomplish in the fall? What didn't you do? Self-reflection in the summer, but in the fall, what do you want to get out of it? Like, what do you want to, like, it doesn't have to be anything serious, like you're saying. It's like, do you want to spend more time with family? Do you want to spend more times with your kids, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife, your mom, your dad, whoever it is? Like, do you want to, your friends, do you want to spend, like, did you not see your friends for the last month or two? You know, whatever your job is, whatever your house, your projects, like, you need to plan this stuff, because if you don't have that person in your group, then they're not planning it, and you don't even have someone to say no to because no one's actually saying something, and you're like, we haven't gotten together. How long has it been? 8 months? Shit.
Yeah.
We missed 3 birthdays, and we also missed the entire football season. We also didn't celebrate Thanksgiving. Like, goddamn. And then the biggest thing that I learned right towards the end of my...
Easy now. Easy. Take it easy.
I'm just saying.
The veins sticking out in your forehead.
It happens towards the end of the podcast. My big thing also is combine that with your 12 to 18 month. That's where I look at it. That one of the things that I've probably really not been as good at, especially when I was renting the house, when I was trying to like go from a divorce to where I'm now. That was 8 years, and I was more focused on enjoying the time in front of me as opposed to planning ahead. So taking all of those things, that's when I look at that, and I know, again, it's not necessarily a romantic or really like fun analogy, but it's something that I think that can really get to the point where you enjoy what's going on and focus on the people in front of you that day or what you have in front of you as far as what you need to get done. At least check those things off. You put them off, you're not holding yourself accountable. Then you look at the monthly thing. Then you look at the quarterly. Like, what do I want to do this fall? Christmas comes up, Hanukkah, whatever it is, New Year's, whatever. Like, what's important to you coming up? And then it is also, by this time next year, what do I want to accomplish? And that's where I challenge myself going forward, and I hope the podcast will reflect that going forward, that I can actually come back, this time next year and be able to revisit this type of a topic and say, you know what, last year I was talking this way. This year, I'm good. I'm set. I didn't miss this summer. I killed it. I'm really
sure
had a
you
good
already
time.
see that since like we started the whole thing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, I know you going back and look.
Well,
and,
yeah, Facebook
and
really
listen
reminds
to the way
me.
you
Absolutely,
talk, like, I'm like completely different.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree.
No.
I'm the same.
You're the same.
Well, but when we have you on again, though.
Okay.
I also want to thank. So James Cox, I think, it might be a newer viewer. He's asking us a lot of questions, but I do appreciate this, and this is one of the things that we really enjoy about this, is that he says, "I needed this tonight, guys. Thank you."
Yeah,
that's what awesome. I love about this part of it. Yeah,
awesome.
That's awesome. So Stogiebirds.
Yeah.
Sam Lucia, everyone involved. Thank you, everyone. Can I see your? Well, you say it, Steve. What's the deals again? There's 2 cigars for
so
$20?
Normally, on there right now, when you go on Stogiebird.com, that's Stogiebird, one word, .com. If you go, you get $20 2 cigars each month, 5 cigars for $40, so you get a break there, or 8 cigars for $60. And there's also a manufacturer. Don't talk about that one.
Why?
Bourbon and BS. If you put Bourbon and BS in the coupon code.
Oh, this is for us.
This is everyone.
Oh.
That's what they get. They get a $5 off your first order for a reoccurring subscription.
Got it.
Sam said one time, this is something that this is for a one-time purchase or a reoccurring purchase, but you get $5 off anything on their site if you put in Bourbon and BS in the coupon code.
What if we give these away and then they do their first time? Do they get $10 off?
I don't know. I don't know.
We'll have to talk to
Sam
about that.
But thank you, Sam, for doing that. Absolutely.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for the abundance of cigars and the snake.
I think it was great that Jake got the snake.
I love it.
Jake the Snake.
Jake the Snake. Great wrestler. And thank you to Altadis. All right. Thank you to Altadis for...
I know.
I've been waiting all night to say that.
I hate you.
Before we log off, the sponsors, Altadis USA.
Yes, and BS Cigar Brand. Thank you, Tinder Box at Easton. Brian and Steve, you guys make an awesome product. Thank you, Brian, and everyone at the Tinder Box. We love you guys. It's what makes this whole thing possible is pretty much the community. That's what started this, is the Tinder Box at Easton.
And Sam Lucia, thank you for sponsoring this podcast with Stogiebird.
Yeah, and thank you, Doug, for bringing the bourbon. The 8-year-old Western Reserve bourbon coming out of George Dickel Distillate. Drink, everyone. And thank you, everyone. Episode 84. I'm Jake Sanders along with Steve Crane.
Absolutely.
And we make up the Bourbon and BS podcast. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for having me tonight. Appreciate it.
Clinky.
Clinky.